Oh, and as soon as it goes hard, we got to start the show.
Hard. Go hard.
I almost never want to start the show when these songs are going hard, especially on this new music playlist that I found. So it's always new music every week.
So we can hear Transformers with indigestion remixes.
Exactly. Just because you don't like dubstep, not our fault. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the show. Let's go.
You.
Distance nerding.
Hey!
Hey!
I missed my cue.
Oh! Hey! Oh, hey!
Gentlemen, you are now watching Distance Nerding. Oh, yes.
Well, howdy there, fellers.
What's happening? How are you?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means.
You are now
Laundry day?
and listening, and it is laundry day, and tasting Distance Nerding, a part of the Comic-Con Radio podcast family.
She's for hey girl.
Oh, it's my cue. I told you I'm missing my cues tonight. He's Jamez 5000.
And I guess I'm the young Phil. And
I'm sorry. This is gonna be me.
Here to nerd
together
for the 122nd time. We're talking about anything pop culture, movies, food, music, wrestling, comics, Comic-Cons, whatever you're nerding out on. We want to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta follow us on all the fun places like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, all at Distance Nerding. And of course, you can email us at distancenerding@aol.com. I do that just because it cracks you up, Frey.
It's hilarious. It is always gonna crack me up. Always.
Hold on, I can put it on screen so you can see it. distancenerding@aol.com.
So good.
Y'all are ridiculous. I love it.
It's great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to get going because this week on deck we've got the GEEKEND update.
Yeah.
Feel the power. Powerhouse Comic-Con is coming.
Lights, camera, reaction.
Disney feeding us a ton of trailers. Go for it. Try it. Get in there. Get in
Disney,
there. Try it. I dare you.
Disney feeding us a ton of trailers like they're churros.
Oh, and then we're going to be not starting any rumors.
Right.
No rumors.
do that.
Just Star Wars facts.
Because
Facts,
we've
y'all.
got a giant dose of the download.
The download.
A celebration of Star Wars news. Get it? Celebration. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did there. And of course, the breakdown.
And you know we're going to be talking about some Mando.
You know this, man.
Welcome to the Gun Show. Mando Season 3, Episode 6, Guns for Hire.
I hope it never ends.
Right. But before we do any of that, of course, before we do all the fun stuff.
But first,
let me get a shout out.
You always do that, and I get into it, and then you stop it.
Maybe one day I'll actually play the song, so that way you're like, oh wait, there's a whole song to this.
Oh,
I know, right?
God.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, shout outs, nerd appreciation shout outs. Of course, we got to shout out the one, the only Poddex. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Poddex. They're a unique episode interview episode question and episode starting prompt in the palm
In the
of
palm
your
of your hand. If
So if
you're a
you are-
new broadcaster or an existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, level up with Poddex and check out poddex.com. Use code nerding10 for 10% off.
That's nerding 10 for 10% off.
And he's just over here, just like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to let you say it. You're just I'm going to take it from you. Is what I'm doing here.
What it
Yeah.
is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if the show is powered by Poddex, then what is Young Phil powered by? And I'm going to tell you what that is, ladies and gentlemen. It's DUBBY. Yes, DUBBY is an emerging brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. DUBBY contains no maltodextrin, no sugars, no fillers, no artificial colors or dyes, and it's keto friendly. So, guys, DUBBY is one of the few drinks that contains neurofactor, a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Neurofactor helps give your brain focus and clarity, while the 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins help you stay alert and energized. Find out more about DUBBY at www.dubby.gg and use the code NERDING10 to get 10% off your order. How cool.
Oh my God, it is Madison here, and I have to tell you that DUBBY is so good. Like, you know, I like to go out and party and have a good time, and DUBBY helps me do it because it's just so fantastic. At first, you drink it, and it's like really yummy, and then it gets a little scary because you get really energized, and then it's yummy again. But then it's scary, but yummy at the same time. So fantastic. It helps me party even longer.
Why do you sound so much like my sister?
I don't know who your sister is. Maybe I met her at a party.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
Summer's kind of a partier, so.
Yeah. She might be one of my crew now. I do have a posse. And Wongers, he is fantastic. Let me tell you.
Oh, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, head over to dubby.gg. Use that code you see on the screen. Nerding10. If you're listening, that is NERDING10. Nerding10 and get 10% off your order. Yes.
Wongers uses the DUBBY. You know Wongers uses the DUBBY.
He's got to. Well, I mean, now that he and Madison are like BFF, he's got to use the DUBBY because that girl knows how to party.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's funny is I was listening to a Kevin Smith podcast, and he was talking about how when he met Benedict Wong, he was at a con and he's in the green room and he walks and he goes, "Hi, I'm Benny," and he goes, "No, you're not. You're Wong."
And you know what? It's true because his last name is Wong. So
right.
It's like, you know, they picked the right actor. I just think it's funny. I always wanted to know like what the back and forth between Benedict Wong and Benedict Cumberbatch and the director was, because he's like, "Hey, Ben," and they're both like, "Yes." You know,
well,
apparently, no, that Ben.
Apparently, Benedict Wong calls himself Benny. So, because when he introduced himself to Kevin Smith, he called himself Benny.
Yeah, well, that makes it easier. But I've loved him since the IT Crowd. So.
Oh yeah, Benedict Wong's awesome. So let's get into a little bit of kind of like more fun things, shows, and things we got coming up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time of all the Geekend
update. Distance Nerding is part of the Comic-Con radio family, bringing all the nerd news to all the nerds around the globe. Listen to Distance Nerding on and the second show, a Comic-Con conversation, a comic conversation.
I don't even know the name of our show.
Comic conversation. Hey, you know, I would know them if you would post them to our feed, but you're not. So how about that?
Because they're supposed to be exclusive to Comic-Con Radio. So that's
I'm exclusive to harping on you. So look for Distance Nerding podcast and a new episode of a Comic Conversation each week on comiccon-radio.com/podcast. And I'm going to pop it in the chat so you can all check it out.
Yes, sir.
Every time we do the Comic-Con radio thing, I always think of Mexican radio. And I want to go Comic-Con radio. Oh. I don't know why.
Because I did that joke like the second week, and I can't think of a better joke, so that works out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching now and you saw us over at Gem State Comic-Con, we had a whole bunch of fun. We haven't done a recap on the show yet because we've been so slammed, and I apologize for that because I know a couple people have been asking for it. But at the same time, we do have to start moving into our next con with Colossus Girl Entertainment, and that show is Powerhouse Comic-Con. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Powerhouse Comic-Con is happening May 20th in Pleasanton, California. Now it's going to be featuring David Faustino. If you guys don't know who that is, I see Frey saw that look, right? That's Married with Children. If you're if you know many Married with Children, right?
Oh yeah. I'm married with children. What are you talking about?
Yeah. We're also getting Tracy Gold from Growing Pains.
Oh wow.
Elise Bauman, who was in Dragon Ball Z. I believe she played Gohan. No. Was it Gohan or no? Young Goku. Young Goku. It was Young Goku.
Oh, really? We're gonna interview Goku's back to back?
Yeah. So she played Young Goku.
Interesting.
Totally different character. Young
right.
Goku and Goku, totally different.
Right. And many, many more. So we're going to be getting a whole bunch of characters. I mean, technically, he is a completely different character.
He is.
From regular Goku. You know, he's definitely a lot more curious. If you've seen the Japanese version of Dragon Ball, he's kind of an asshole.
That's an understatement that he's curious. Okay.
I mean, he punched Bulma in the Yum Yum spot. So I mean, like,
yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna call that because that's gonna be the safe way to say that on a podcast,
right? Yeah.
In the Yum Yum spot.
Yum
Yum Yum.
Yum Yum spot.
That almost sounds like Goku saying that. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, go to powerhousecomiccon.com, get your tickets. If you don't already have a Forever Pass, you need to get one. Of course, you're going to see all kinds of not just guests, but we're also going to have, I mean, there's a lot of vendors. I'm pretty sure that Lucharillas is going to be there.
Oh, really?
Well, I know Eric has been to a couple of their shows as an artist.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So we'll confirm with them, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have a booth.
Sweet.
Cool.
And we might get an appearance from the Fresno Deadpools. That's what I hear, is that they may be coming to the show, which is going to be awesome.
Oh, you guys should do a flash mob.
Oh,
and don't rehearse it.
Yes.
Just all the Deadpools just start dancing.
And don't even talk about it. Don't even plan it.
No, and then at the end, just have me screaming, "We planned this for weeks."
Yeah.
How did you guys not know this?
All of my heart choreography down the drain. I just get really upset about it.
This was so planned. We're not planned. This is not. It's terrible. Sorry.
PowerhouseComicCon.com, May 20th, Pleasanton, California. See you there.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the meat of the show.
Because have we explained why Forrest is not with us this week?
We have not yet.
Maybe we should do that before we get into the download. Just that he's traveling right now. That's why he's not with us, and that's why and Roshi doesn't come on without him, so that's why Roshi wasn't in as well. So he should be back, I think, next week, right? He's gonna be back with us.
He might be in studio Thursday. We're not gonna.
Okay,
there you go. All the surprises
we have
ruined.
A rumor. We have a rumor.
Yeah, that would be a rumor. That would be a rumor because we're not 100% on that, but it's a possibility.
Do you guys make excuses when I'm not on? You guys
Absolutely.
Just like.
Well, no, when you're not on, I just say you're locked in the closet again.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Keep the show going. That's what I like.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I just wanted to mention it just in case, I mean, they're used to the four of us. So I wanted to, talk about the elephant not in the room, or not the elephant in the room. I don't know. Pink elephant somewhere.
Just keep talking. You'll dig yourself out of it.
It's okay because I'm about to do the one thing that James hates that I do.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's all powdery on your fingers. Oh my goodness.
It's
Did you never eat Tang when you
It's
were
the
a kid
Frito
in powder
King.
form?
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
did when I was a child.
But,
Yeah,
I
and now I
mean,
do it with my Dubby.
Now you
There
do
you
it with your
go.
fingers.
But yeah, that's what I did. I
You
would,
didn't lick your fingers as a kid, James? When you
Yeah, because I wasn't spilling it. Why do you keep spilling it every week?
I'm not spilling it. That's literally my putting my hand inside of a
You're scooping it with your hands. They have a spoon for
No.
it.
It's not a spoon. There's a dipper thing inside of there. There's a damn it. What are they called? A scoop.
Yeah.
There's a scoop inside of there, and of course,
Yeah.
to grab the scoop, I have to put my hand inside the powder.
I'm a little concerned. You were like 3 knuckles deep, and I'm just concerned.
Oh, yeah, it is on my knuckles.
Exactly. See, you can see it on your hands. You
you
weirdo.
know, you can actually put the scoop on the outside. You just put the lid back on and then put the scoop there, and then you can do it that way.
Yeah, I have.
I
like
mean, I'm not telling you how to live.
I have like 7 of these things, and those are just gonna get lost. I'm not.
You got all motherly on us for a second there.
Exactly.
I did. I totally did. I will stop that immediately.
Yeah. Well, let's get this going, guys. Because we have a lot to go over this week.
I'm surprised you still have Dubby left because I thought Cam was going to drink it all.
Can we please have quiet on the set?
Okay, I'll be quiet. Jeez.
Oh my god, so hateful.
Cam was getting down though. He did get he got the flavor that he wanted to, because
Really?
he had
That's
been
awesome.
trying. He had been trying for a long time to get the to get all the flavors in one in one mix, and we made that for him, and he absolutely loved it.
I love it. It's kind of like the old school like Suicide. Remember the Suicide Cola where you just put a little bit of soda, a little bit of the different sodas in each thing.
I used to do that in the army. Maybe we
Yeah,
worked with it.
but they called it the Suicide because it was like all of them. But it just tasted like soda, so I don't.
That's
really
that's why
understand.
we couldn't find Cam for that last hour. He was just running around the building, all hopped up on the
He was
Dubby.
hopped up on dubs, but he was.
He was in flash mode. He
I'm
was.
all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
He was vibrating, so you guys couldn't see him. He was just like, oh.
God. Well, guys, we're starting off with our trailers here, and the trailer we're starting off with this week is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. There is a new trailer out for Indiana Jones, and we are going to check this one out. You guys ready for this?
I'm pretty happy about this because, you know, I always have loved Indy. He's been in my heart. I've loved Indiana Jones. Well, his name's Henry Jr.
Henry Jones
Junior.
So, but I still
Will you
have my
stop
favorites.
calling me that? That's your name. Henry Jones Jr.
Dials. Why did it have to be dials? All right, let's go.
All right, let's watch this.
All right, let's go.
Oh, audio's off.
Oh,
Wait.
just in time.
I love it. So, do you think that those girls in the subway are an Easter egg for Captain America for the first
Ooh,
one?
maybe.
Maybe.
What are we drinking?
Yeah.
Same for the goddaughter.
I love Phoebe
Dad
Waller.
told me you found
She is
something.
amazing.
So he's
On a train
doing an
during
adventure
the
with
war.
his goddaughter because
A
his
dial
son
that
sucks,
could
right?
change
That's
the
what it
course
is.
of
That
Yeah.
and they said they're gonna address Mutt in the movie too. So it's like
Don't move.
Please get out of here.
Yeah.
he was gonna address that Mutt as an idiot. He's like, no, he decided he.
Sorry.
I wish that.
Who's your dad, though?
Yeah. And Mads Mikkelsen.
Mad looks awesome.
He looks so
Yeah, that's just awesome.
That's like somebody Boyd, right? Boyd somebody. I can't remember the kid's name, but he was the bad guy in Sandman.
He's been about that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
It's
plays
kinda
such
crazy.
a good bad
This.
guy.
It's kind of crazy, like seeing some of the de-aging effects that they've done,
You stole it.
and like how a lot of
And
people
I
are
stole
complaining
it.
about it. Like when I see it in this, like
Capitalism.
it looks like in the 80s.
It looks like they filmed it when he was young. Like I
Yeah.
didn't get any uncanny valleys in it when I was watching it in that. So, but I don't know if like for the whole scene if it's going to be like that or if it, you know, just in a little bits. So if they do an extended flashback, I mean you might get that.
Indiana Jones.
And
Give
I-
'em.
I'm pretty sure it is going to be flashbacks. I think he's fighting like a Nazi cult.
Yeah.
Like he's not going after like
Shot 9 times.
he's not going after the Soviets like he did in the last movie. I think it's like there's a Nazi cult that
Yeah.
he's
so happy to see Toby Jones in it.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Toby Jones is awesome. I love everything that he's done.
Yeah.
All the feels.
I think it's gonna be really cool. I hope if they get the flashbacks right, I think that's what's gonna make the movie. If the flashbacks suck, the movie's gonna suck. I mean, honestly.
I honestly don't think that they're gonna suck. I think that like
no, I don't either.
Right.
But
No,
I'm
agreeing with you.
Hinge on the flashbacks.
Like, I'm agreeing with you. I think that these are the flashbacks are gonna be awesome, especially because I mean, you know, they tried to do everything with the Soviets. It didn't work out the way that everybody thought it was gonna work out. And they're going back to the Nazis, right? And I mean, like you can do a Nazi cult. It's not like it's hard to do that because they still exist.
Right. And most of them are on Twitter.
I know. The thing is, they amplified like in the 60s, right? Like in the 60s, the Nazi cults kind of just like started amplifying and kind of like raising the awareness, and that's where they started becoming like the white nationalists and things like that. So I mean, because they still exist, you can still make them the villain in the movie. It's like you don't have to stop making Nazis the villain. You can make Nazis the villain in the movie. And
I mean, you know, it's always like because of what Indiana Jones represents as far as like that kind of filmmaking, because it was that serialized adventure movie that they did, like, you know, around the same time that they did like the Tarzan movies originally and stuff. It was all serialized, so you had to have a big bad guy, so you could still do that because all of it's set in the past. It's supposed to be set in the past, so you know, you can totally do that. I just think it's brilliant that they went back to the Nazis because the Soviets didn't work. We all know it didn't work.
Yeah, so. I mean, they tried, and I mean, they could have done it if they would have done it right. They could have done that fairly well, but they just didn't execute it right.
Yeah, I get it. So
I'm okay with this because it feels like it ties to the first, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, right? And that it has all the feels for it. It has all the adventure, all the action. That's what I want. I want like almost like an homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and like what you remember, what you are joyful about when it comes to Indiana Jones. So. I am down with this movie. I want to give this. I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna rate it before you guys steal my rating.
I was just about to get into that. So, what's your ratings, guys?
I want to give it. I'm excited for this. I want to give it 9 whips out of 10. We're short rounds.
Oh, that's a good one. Good
you know that actually is
an adult short round,
especially because he just won in a like a major award. Short round would be great in this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's too busy in the TVA right now.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's gonna be the TVA.
Yo, what's up, Ark? Ark's in the chat.
Hey.
So's Eric. What's up, Eric? And Cam. Good old Cam.
Hi, guys.
Cam's still running around the building from Gem State Comic Con.
Hi, you peeps.
Frey, what's your rating on this?
My rating is 10.
Wow.
Crystal skulls.
Oh my God. Oh, what does that say?
God.
Out of.
It really pisses me off to no end.
Professor Henry Jones Seniors.
Oh, okay.
It's a throwback, y'all.
My name is Henry Jones. I'm an archaeologist. Junior.
I thought that was the best casting of his dad, honestly. Oh, yeah. And the way that Sean Connery
Sean Connery's amazing. This is everything Sean Connery did was just gold. And it's like when he played roles that weren't serious, they were great. You know, because Henry Jones was like
a departure from like James Bond.
Yeah.
Like you saw that and it was just like, and you thought, oh, he's gonna be the James Bond guy. And he was just like, you know, bow tie, weird hat. Oh my God, I don't want to get wet.
He fits that so well. Like the thing is like just it's something about him that fits Henry Jones so well. You know, Henry Jones Sr. And just the way that he kind of like halfway puts his son down.
Oh yeah.
Because like Indiana has so many accomplishments. Like, you know, he's done so much for his dad just to kind of like put him down. And then, you know, Indiana, they named the dog Indiana.
Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing. It's like he's, you know, you could see it. Like before that one, you couldn't see why, like, it was like, oh wow, his name's Indiana Jones. What does he have, like, pre-hippie, parents or whatever? But then you realize the reason he called himself Indiana is because he didn't want to be in his dad's shadow, and his dad was this like high mucky muck. So no matter what he did, he wasn't ever gonna live up to that.
Right. His father was a scholar. I mean, just the same way that that Junior's a scholar. But I mean, like, like Henry Jones Sr. was somebody like the Holy Grail was his biggest accomplishment versus Henry Jones Jr. So much.
The Holy Grail is to stay on track.
Hold on, my rating. I know you're trying to skip my rating here because you want to get into the next trailer, but
we don't need to review a movie from 25 years ago.
Yes, we do. Hey. Okay.
This is an indie movie. Come on.
Exactly. We're being nostalgic. Okay.
You were the one that started the Indiana.
We named the segment Lights, Camera, Reaction. Move on. Okay.
You're the one that laughed at Philippe's impressions, and that got him doing more.
God.
So I'm blaming you, Frey.
So I'm gonna give this
out back.
I'm gonna give this 10. How about that? I'm gonna give this 10 fedora, not fedora, but like adventure hats that Indiana Jones wears.
We're just now gonna call them adventure hats. From
adventure hats, yeah. Just like
I'm gonna put on my adventure hat.
Not a fedora, but it's an adventure hat, right? Out of 10 non-working guns, but still shooting a guy because you're sick.
You're right.
Deep cuts.
Those are deep cuts. Deep cuts.
It's like I'm not going to do the fight scene. I'm not going to do the fight scene. It's going to be funny if I just shoot the guy.
Like, I've got malaria. We're just shooting the man.
That just defines Indiana Jones's personality. Is a scene that wasn't even supposed to be a scene. All right, let's stop with the nostalgia. Let's get to this next trailer.
That's only like 2 months away. Is that so weird?
Sorry. What's the date, James?
June 30th.
Right.
So nuts. It's like 2.5 months away.
But you know what? This next one, it's even sooner.
Oh yeah,
that is true.
So if it'll let me.
And that's the cue. Okay, somebody fill.
Yeah, I'm tapping it, and it's not.
I can fill.
Somebody talk about the Indiana Jones.
Oh, you wanted
movies from 25 years ago.
Indiana Jones, but suddenly you want me to go on and on.
That one is my favorite movie.
Believe that it's April already.
There we go.
Honestly,
there we go.
All right.
Sorry about that. It wouldn't let me go to the next page.
That is my favorite Indiana Jones movie, though.
Is it?
Even over Raiders, even over Temple of Doom.
But the second one, or the third one?
Third one.
Oh yeah, I think the third one's my favorite too.
Yeah, the second one's a little questionable because there's some stuff happening in that movie that's just like doesn't hold up. But I mean, still.
Yeah, but the bar.
Oh yeah. Oh, the bar scene was awesome. All right, let's get into this next trailer, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Star Wars Visions Season 2.
Oh my gosh, guys, I'm having a prediction.
Uh-oh. Give me your prediction real quick before we start.
I'm seeing a Gromit named Wallace.
Like Wallace and Gromit?
Maybe. I don't know. Play
the trailer.
We'll figure it out.
Oh God! All right, let's do Wallace. Let's do this Wallace and Gromit Visions here.
Or not.
Oh
my not.
Back to the Last Crusade. I gotta tell you.
Hold on, dude. Is
that River Phoenix is very underrated.
Wait, hold on, dude. Seriously, was that?
I just see the three of us. But no, he was so good in that as young Indiana Jones. And I think that's, to me, that first act of that, I see it in the little one.
Are you guys not watching the trailer right now? Oh, no, we're not. Oh, my God. Well, I'm over here getting super excited. I'm over here getting super excited because
look,
we didn't have it on screen.
You don't need to know what you do in your own time.
Okay.
Oh, look, we can all see the trailer. Oh, it's a show for everybody.
Yeah.
I know that looked bad.
That is so cool.
Okay, so is that?
You can pause it. You can pause it.
Malik?
Pause it if you
want. It looks like Darth Malik. I don't.
It looks like Darth Malik, right?
Well, because Darth Malik has the thing on it on the bottom of his face, And I don't think that's it. I think that whole thing covers his face.
Okay.
Go back and we can look at
He
it.
totally looks like Darth Malik.
I like the dreadlock
Yeah,
look.
he
though.
doesn't have. So you see that, like the things on the side of his head. Darth Malik doesn't have that.
Maybe he's from Jamaica.
He's from Jamaica. Yeah, he doesn't have these things.
Yeah, that's not.
He looks like Malik.
Very Malik.
He looks.
I thought
He
it
looks
was
like Malik
too.
if he had a different if he had a different face mask on the bottom, because the
But I
top
don't
of the
think
head
it's
is
him.
very Malik as well.
Yeah, but those ponytails or pigtails, they don't jive.
I mean, because this could be Malik after Revan supposedly killed him. You know what I mean? Because like,
you know what, it could. You're right.
Yeah. It could be
is a
just like
possibility.
even more like breathing apparatuses and whatnot because Revan messed his ass up. But I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
let's get back to this. Just
So
the way that he's leading in, and then the crossguard kind of throws it off too. But I mean, like,
By the way, his saber looked awesome. That was like
the saber
all
looks so
sparkly.
cool. Ooh, look, she's got like an orange saber.
Oh,
Would you say it's orange or yellow?
That looked yellow to me, but it had
Well,
like
it's
that
not-
feel of
Studio Ghibli?
Spider-Man.
Yeah. They're doing
oh,
so
did
many.
Studio Ghibli have an episode on this?
I think so. I know they did. Yeah, they opened it up to everyone. So I think
Right.
there's one from India. That one right there. And then there we go.
It is Wallace and Gromit.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid.
Oh, it's awesome. They all look so good.
Yeah. Oh my
They
god. It's,
all look so
like,
good.
the biggest
and
thing with
so
Visions is
different.
the animation is always on point. And this is just kind of like, you know, you went with all anime the first time. Now they're going with different animation styles, and it looks amazing.
I think they did like just pure anime for the first one, and now
Right.
they've expanded it to
Oh my
like
god. that
any
looks so
country that
cool.
wanted to do it. Like they had them submit something and they picked them. I think that's what they did. So
That TIE fighter that came in though, like just the look of it was so cool.
oh yeah, and it's gonna be on May the 4th. Be with you.
This definitely is something that is worthy of May the 4th. Like this looks
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, I'm totally binging it on May 4th.
I think it's 9 different shorts.
Yeah, it is. It's 9.
I'm
So-
amazed with how beautiful this is, and I mean, I didn't think that they could top the first season like that. That's really good.
So Filoni during Celebration, he was talking about this during the Clone Wars panel,
Right.
Because it's 15 years
Right.
since Clone Wars. And he was saying that the reason that they started doing Visions is because he wants to train the like animators how George trained him. And so he wants to get them involved. And so that's why he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
it looks great. I mean, just Filoni is on point when it comes to the way that he gets his artists and kind of everybody online. His storytelling is great, and this is just a testament to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be. I am so excited for this. I wasn't super excited for the first season, and I think it's just because I didn't know what to expect. But then we started watching them, and I made us not watch all of them at once because I wanted to digest the episodes.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that this year. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to binge them. I'm just gonna have to, and then just rewatch each one. by
And then
itself.
rewatch, and then rewatch.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I did.
I
That's what
watched it in
did.
blocks, so I would watch like 2 or 3 episodes.
That's how we're doing Last of Us.
Mhm.
Is with my son. Is we're doing that. But
That's the best way to watch Last of Us.
Last
Yeah.
of Us was
Oh,
really
yeah.
good, by the way.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that at some point because I think all of us will probably have opinions.
Yeah, we might have to do like a side episode, or do it on the build or something where we have time where we can do that.
We could do a rewatch like in between some of the stuff.
Yeah.
That might be cool. All right, anyway, we're off topic. So this is something we can talk off the, off the
idea.
stream.
You're giving James
Hey guys,
ideas.
you guys are doing again our production meeting now.
So let's.
They got
we need a rating here.
Go ahead, Frey.
Oh, me first. Okay. I'm gonna rate this. I'm gonna rate it 9 because I think it's going to be a 10, but I'm
Only.
going to say 9.
You're taking expectations.
Yes. So I'm going to say 9 felt Wookiees tearing off the arms of the other felt character out of 10 porta potties that need to be moved.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna save James for last because I always go last. Let me go next on this one. I'm gonna go with 10 Darth Malik lookalikes with crossguard sabers out of 10 amazing stop motion TIE fighters.
Okay. All right. I'm down.
All right, James, give us your rate.
I want to go. I want to say 9 episodes out of 2 seasons. No, 9. 9 out of 10. I can't even think of something right now. I'm super excited for it. Lightsabers out of 10 young Phil camera angles, because he's on his like 10th camera angle right now.
Yeah.
So
My camera keeps falling, and I just kind of because I was trying to put it. I was trying to put it in a different like way where I can kind of like I had to move my stuff around because I thought Thick was going to be here. So I moved like my monitor around, and I normally put my camera on the monitor so I can see like so when I'm looking at the monitor, it looks like I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, because you don't like looking at us. We know.
Well, kind of both, because I've got like 2 things I've got to focus on, and it's not. I kind of have my camera in between both right now, so and then I put it on a stand. So yeah sorry.
No, I was just teasing you.
No, it was really funny because like at some point we saw your ceiling. It was nice.
And the best part of this whole thing is none of
somebody call 911. Philly fell.
Yeah, none of the stuff that we're talking about right now is going to be on the audio version, so we're good.
Oh, all right. Then let's turn it up. But it is coming May the 4th.
Yes, let me put everything back on the screen here.
So we're like what, 3 weeks away?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's already 3 weeks. Holy crap!
Yeah, I mean, we got so much stuff coming up. It's like ridiculous. And apparently they decided that, hey, these 2 weeks in April, these first 2 weeks in April, let's just go ahead and put everything out then. Let's just put all the trailers out. Let's do all the fun little things like the Barbie selfie generator that I am addicted to. But
they've been sitting on all this for like 2 years.
Yes.
Thanks to the pandemic. So they're just like, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
Thanks, pandemic.
Pandemic.
But I think it's going to be really fun. I love that they're doing these, and there's not. I mean, no one expects any of it to be canon. They're just stories, and I just think it's amazing.
I thought of that while you guys were talking earlier. I like how it is. It feels like a remixed version of Star Wars, and it feels fresh.
It does. Yeah.
So I do think that. What was that?
I said it's kind of what we need, is to have something that kind of mixes it up a little bit.
Something that's fun, and just like the first time we're seeing that style and everything. It's just really, to me, it just really feels like we've got it's just fun and exciting. It's not, it's nothing that's like, oh God, we got to watch every single, second of this, because if we don't, we're going to miss 17 things and we're not going to understand what's going on in anything.
Totally.
It's just, we can just watch it like we did when we were kids.
Right.
You watch something, you didn't care what that character's name was, and if that, moved over to the next movie or whatever. You didn't care about that. You were just a kid. You just thought it was fun and colorful, and people punched each other. And then
unfortunately, the next trailer that we're watching doesn't have that luxury, because if you didn't watch Rebels and Clone Wars and everything like that, you may not understand everything happening in this show, because we got a trailer for Ahsoka.
Yeah, so before we play this, I actually am in the process of watching Rebels, so I haven't finished it yet, but I know enough, and I've watched enough I'm a huge Star Wars YouTube like watcher. And so there's like 3 or 4 Star Wars channels that I just watch and talk about lightsaber colors and all sorts of weird crap. And
It's talking about the fact that she's a gray Jedi and she has white lightsabers and
no, but I didn't. So that's how I heard about Thrawn. So I never knew who Thrawn was because I'd never watched Rebels. I tried.
I'm so upset that Thick isn't here because he's a huge Thrawn fan.
Yeah, but like my son didn't want to see. He was into Star Wars, but he just wasn't interested in Rebels, and he wasn't interested really in the Clone Wars series. So I didn't get a chance to watch all that when it came out, and so because we were busy watching Toy Story and all that, but over and
so you're watching Rebels now
over and over again. Yes,
but you haven't finished it.
Clone Wars. We're in season 3, so we're almost done. And we already know, we've seen Thrawn. I know how it ends. I know Ezra and Thrawn go off to the unknown regions, and I know that, spoiler, Kanan dies, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that. So I know all the big stuff, and I think my husband's still out here, so he may also now know that. And I apologize to him on live television or live content.
I love Rebels before The Mandalorian. And like what do they call it? The New Republic era. Rebels has been my favorite like chunk of Star Wars. It's such like a love. It's totally Dave Filoni being a fan and such a love letter to like what George Lucas started and Ralph McQuarrie's artwork. And it's funny. You can like watch that show and just pause it and look at it and be like, that is a Ralph McQuarrie painting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So there's actually something in it. So because I've seen this already, because I watched like a lot of Star Wars Celebration. But there's something in this that we just watched it. My husband wanted to watch the Marvels trailer again, and then we watched the Indy trailer and then the Ahsoka trailer because they were all right there. And I actually paused it. So I'll have you guys pause it. Like right at the beginning, pause it, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's do it.
But it does lead into what James said.
Yeah. So let's get into this here.
Pause it now. I told you right at the beginning. So you see the columns, like all the columns?
Yeah.
When I first saw it, like when I first saw this, I just saw like the first 5 seconds of it. I saw those columns and I was like, these are so beautiful. They have to be animation.
Oh,
like they're so cool looking. They have to be animation. So when you're talking about Rebels and how you just pause it and you look at it, this gave me the exact same feeling within the first 5 seconds of the trailer. So, okay, that's what I wanted to say. Let's go.
I totally agree with you.
But, and then her being that like lone person and she's got that poncho on.
Yeah.
That's like so fistful of dollars, like,
right?
You know, that kind of thing.
You know what's funny? Whenever I watch Star Wars, I'm like, I want to wear a poncho like Luke Skywalker. But you can't just go out wearing a poncho these days.
Yeah, no, there's no ponchos. We don't do ponchos anymore.
So going back into this, they did say that she spent 14 hours a week, 2 hours a day training as Ahsoka so that she could look exactly the way she does in the cartoon. That's how much dedication that Rosario Dawson had to make it so that she looked like the animated character in her movements and in the way that she fought, because she did her own stunts.
And her ponchos.
And her ponchos. I mean,
those ponchos have to sit just right.
But like that's even more dedication than she did in season 2 of The Mandalorian, because she studied the way Ashley Eckstein talked just so that she could sound like Ahsoka.
Yeah, you know, I minored in poncho in college. It's called poncho training, and I minored in it in college. It was I got a B.
I'm buying a poncho for this.
So apparently she's still looking for Ezra. That's what we're here. That's what we're doing.
Love cat.
Yeah.
Look at that Sabine.
Wren, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was Sabine.
Look at the ghost.
It's so weird seeing her hair that long. And then that's her and Chopper.
The thing is like it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing Hera Syndulla.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? They're keeping it in the family. Obi-Wan, her, you know.
That's right. I forgot she's married to Obi-Wan. I forgot that she's married to him.
And Filoni playing how many different characters in Star Wars now?
Right?
Because he's playing Chopper, live action Chopper.
Oh, is he playing Chopper? I know he played Trapper Wolf, but I didn't know he played Chopper.
He did the
He
voice
played
of
Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
cartoon.
he did it. I think that was the first thing he did, and then they were like, "No, come do this, come on!" Like Favreau was, and it was like, "All right." But
So, real quick, what did you think of Sabine? Because this is our first look at live action Sabine.
Sabine, her long hair.
Yeah.
I was like, man, her hair is so long. Because in the show, it's always so short.
Right.
So
Joe's got almost like a bob in the show. So
and you know that's probably because of the helmet, right? So
right.
then that tells us she probably hasn't put that helmet on for a long time.
The last time we saw her in Rebels, she shaved her head. It was still purple, but it was like super low, like a one buzz cut.
So it grew from that to what she has now. So that if anything, that tells you how long. Because my hair, if I did it real short and my hair grows pretty long, it would probably take me at least 2 years for it to get that long.
It's gonna be interesting to see if there's still survivors of Clan Ren and if she because they said that everything that's happening in the Mandalorian and whatnot is gonna culminate together, which we'll get into later on in the show. But I mean, like, it's gonna be interesting to see if there are more members of Clan Ren out there and kind of like if she has animosity with them.
Yeah. I mean, and they may not get into it in Ahsoka, but there's nothing that says that. Yeah, but there's nothing that says that now since Sabine is helping Ahsoka that she doesn't cross over into the Mandalorian at some point.
Right.
Because she's a Mandalorian. So
right.
It's like,
well, that's what I'm saying is they're saying that there's that like everything that's happening with all the shows on Disney Plus, they're supposed to all tie together in this movie that we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah. The Filoni movie. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Let's continue the trailer here.
Summer. It's gonna be hot.
Look at that. That must be
hot as a summer.
Like, just look how.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot mature.
That's like the scene at the end of Rebels.
Yes, and I love that's the tie-in that we get. Like we get these with Thrawn. Okay, so that's a big deal right there. I don't know if you guys know, but Thrawn's entire series is called Heir to the Empire. So it's like kind of a big deal, right?
Series, yeah.
It's kind of a big deal for Ahsoka to say he's the heir of the heir to the Empire because they're tying in the books to the shows.
Isn't that where that's where Thrawn came from though? Were those books?
Kind
or
of.
Had he been on?
So he's been around technically since like the mid 80s.
Okay.
And he there was a whole storyline called Shadows of the Empire. And it was basically that he was the heir to the Empire. He was the one that inherited the Empire after Palpatine.
Okay, but originally he was the heir, so it wasn't all this Palpatine stuff, and that's why everybody was so mad because they thought it was supposed to be Thrawn, but it wasn't. It was Palpatine again, pretending to be Snoke, and then being Snoke, and then not being Snoke, and all that other stuff.
Right, like the whole thing is they kind of like rewrote the storyline, and now we're getting like Thrawn, and you know, again, we got him in Rebels. If you've read the books, then you know just kind of he is a very he's a very formidable character.
A badass mofo.
Yeah, I mean the dude he can fight Jedi with just a vibroblade and win. Like this dude is badass, you know, and he's an Imperial officer, which is kind of scary, right? So, and he's a master tactician. He's always like 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone else.
No, I think it's great, and I heard that they're getting the guy that did the voice, Lars Mikkelsen, who is brother to Mads
Mikkelsen, yes.
But yeah, no, so I'm super like stoked about it, and I think it's gonna be cool. But yeah, so let's continue. Okay, this is it. This is the thing. So you got Hera. Hera's like an admiral now.
Right.
And you got Ahsoka with these orange
look who it is
lightsaber guys.
Who it is? You saw who that was, right?
Yeah, Ezra Bridger.
It was Ezra Bridger. We got a live action Ezra Bridger, guys.
Yeah, we got Ezra. Ezra alert, everyone. And you
Live
know
action
that-
hologram.
Live action.
He's like
The thing
Tupac.
is that even hologram or not, we've got a live action version of Ezra Bridger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like basically the entire cast of Rebels, aside from, of course, Freddie Prinze
Zeb.
Jr. Zeb. Well, I mean, we've seen Zeb already, though.
Yeah, but he was on The Mandalorian, which makes me think they're going to cross over. They're
Right.
going to cross him over before the movie too.
And
So I think
that's what I'm saying. Like Zeb, it's already established. Like Zeb is in the universe.
Mhm.
We've seen him live action. He looks way cooler live action than he did in the cartoon, which he already looked cool.
Yeah.
We've got Harrison Dula. We've got Sabine Wren. We've got Ezra Bridger. Chopper we've already seen because they walked out at Celebration with the live action Chopper, so we know what Chopper looks like.
Mhm.
The only person we're not getting is
Kanan.
Kanan Jarrus, but I mean Kanan Jarrus is dead, so I mean unless they're
But
not
he
going to do
could
it,
Force Ghost.
but they're not going to do that because Freddie Prinze Jr. already said he doesn't want to be involved. So
That's true. And his wife's, she's working. All right. So,
and his
our-
involvement is more because Star Wars fans are toxic as hell and they've like turned
Mhm.
him off to Star Wars altogether.
No, I know. I was making a joke because Sarah
Mhm.
Michelle Gellar's in a new series. So,
Yeah.
So Ark says that he knew Vader was Anakin by studying the video footage of him doing
Yes.
barrel rolls.
Yes. Like that.
I'd heard that. That is so
But that's
interesting.
what's crazy about Thrawn is that like Thrawn is such an advanced character. Like just by looking at tendencies of like things that people do, like once you get far enough in Rebels, you'll start when Thrawn gets introduced, you'll start seeing like kind of the way he does things, right? Like he'll
Mhm.
say what his plan is, but his actual plan was like far exceeding. He knew what you were gonna do before you did it.
Yeah, no, we're starting to get that because we just started season 3, and so we've just been introduced to him, and just the way he strategizes
Mhm.
is so like 9th level. I mean, he's like up there. He's thinking of moves years ahead of time.
Right.
And that's just, and I'm just like, this is it. And if the Emperor had that, he would have, the whole galaxy would have been ruled by him. The Sith would be, the premier stuff, and there would be not one single Jedi left.
Again, he was a master strategist.
Yeah.
So just everything he did was just ahead of everyone. Like, and just the cold calculation of the way that he addressed things, just that's what makes him scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like when you start hearing him give speeches about how their strategy against the rebels, right? And he's just like, it will be their own undoing. Like, oh my God, this is straight up chills down your spine because of the way that Thrawn just kind of like the way that Lars Mikkelsen delivers his lines.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he does it's just so quiet and deliberate,
right? And calculated, like everything.
Chilling.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Chilling.
Yeah.
You
can just tell he's a monster.
He's already like my favorite villain.
Mhm.
Like honestly, yay blue. Let's go blue.
You haven't even seen him on screen in animation or live action.
No,
You're
I
like,
have.
my
No,
favorite.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what Lars Mikkelsen is gonna look like in the paint and everything because they're gonna paint him the same way that we saw Harrison Dula in paint, right? Like we're gonna see him in paint.
And I didn't hate it. I didn't hate how Hera looked.
Right,
Hera looked great.
She's an admiral. She has the 5 red dots on
right.
her thing, so she's an admiral. But her and Sabine, Ahsoka and Sabine have obviously have beef with each other.
Yeah,
we know
they've
that.
had beef, so it was like
So I mean, I get it, but you know what I'm saying. Like they're showing it. It's like an old friend that you haven't seen in a while, and you're catching up. That's what Ahsoka feels like. It feels like almost like coming home. Like you just come back and you haven't been back in a while and you catch up with everything.
I wonder. Oh yeah, I was gonna spoil something. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but just the thing that they address in the season finale or in the show finale. I wonder if they're gonna address that in this show too. James,
have to.
All right,
they kind of have to. So Philippe, why don't you rate it though?
Oh, for me, this is you see how excited I am, right? Like this is definitely 10 short sabers out of 10 live action Harrison Dula is just blowing my mind.
I'll go last. James, you go next.
I will say I'm super stoked for this. This looked amazing. This is what I wanted. Like, I'm a big Filoni guy, and
Right.
this feels like exactly where Filoni was heading with this. And he's like, I want to finish this story. So, and I think this is it. So I want to give this 10 loath cats
Nice.
out of 10 Admiral Thrawn's, because Admiral Thrawn is dope. I dig him.
And all we saw was the back of his head and his 2 ears. That's it.
That, and again, Ahsoka addressing him as the heir to the Empire. So I mean, like, you know, like, oh God, it's so good.
It's crazy.
Let's get your rating, Frey.
Wait,
No, I said
you saw the back of his head?
You can go.
You saw the back of his head and his ears to the Empire?
His ears to the Empire.
No, Phil, you go and then I'll go last.
I already went.
He went
Oh,
first.
yeah, you went first. Okay.
You're not listening. It's all right.
I'm not. I'm just blissed out because I know what trailer's coming next.
I zoned out when he did it too.
It's the brownie.
It's the brownie.
It's actually not. Not yet. Give me about 10 minutes and then it's all bets are off. No, so I'm gonna give this 10 purified lightsabers out of 10 owls. The little owl guy. What's he called? The one from The Daughter. Do you guys not remember this?
No.
I just don't ever remember what he's called. Hey, Ark, tell us the little owl. The owl that is her is the avatar of The Daughter now. Because The Daughter saved Ahsoka for Anakin. Remember when they were in the place between? Or the place beyond?
World between worlds?
Not the world between worlds. The place where the
Morai. It's a Morai.
Morai. Okay. All right. So then I'm gonna give him that 10 out of 10 Morai.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The dude that was supposed to be like the god.
Yeah, the father, the daughter,
the one that talked to Kanan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was before that. So this was in Clone Wars. This was when they went and Ahsoka died.
Right.
And Anakin made them bring her back.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when the son got killed. And so that threw everything out of balance.
Yeah, that was a trippy story arc. I'm like, what is happening?
Crazy. But it, now the little owl is there, and I'm on and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch for the owl. Let's watch for the owl.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm obsessed with the owl now.
And now we have the night owls in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, see, everything's owls.
Okay, let's keep it going because we got one trailer before we get to even more Star Wars.
Right.
Stuff.
So I'm excited for this. I actually saw this one this morning.
Ahsoka
I've seen it 4 times.
Ahsoka's coming August 2023.
Yeah, like I said, I accidentally watched this morning, and I was upset that I watched it because I was trying to save it for the show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy that I watched it because it was really fucking good.
It was amazing. And the first time I watched it, I screamed through the whole thing. So I'm going to try really hard not to scream this time.
If you got to scream, you got to scream. It's okay.
Oh, I already did with Ahsoka. I was like,
this is
you got a mute button.
This trailer is so good, guys. I'm just going to give you my expectations going in. Before seeing this trailer, I kind of was just iffy on this because Captain Marvel, I didn't hate Captain Marvel, but it was kind of movie was okay. And I've always felt that she's like really OP, like too OP to be interesting.
you know what? That can happen because a lot of people say that the reason Superman is a turnoff is because he's so OP.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt that she's kind of, and just, I felt that in like the Avengers Infinity, like the ending movies, that she kind of just comes in and wrecks everything, and it's just like, I'm the best that there is, and all this other stuff. And I just kind of did not like her attitude. Monica Rambeau, I did like.
Really selling this trailer.
Well, I'm going to get to it here in a second. Monica Rambeau, I liked a little bit better because I felt like she kind of earned her powers a little more. And I like the way that they portrayed her in WandaVision. And then of course Kamala Khan is the shit, and I love Kamala Khan like to death. More so in this trailer, but like her show solidified how much I love Kamala Khan. So
I was ready for this movie the second Miss Marvel ended. I was like, when are we getting more Iman Vellani?
Right. I mean, I like Kamala Khan. Iman Vellani is she made that my interest in the Marvels. She made the entire thing, right? And seeing this trailer kind of just pushed it more. I actually do like the way Brie Larson is portrayed in this trailer. You know, I kinda like the way that the way she plays the character in this trailer, I think is really well done.
Really?
So,
Let's find out. Let's all see it.
that's what I was gonna say. So you guys can see it now. We're gonna play the trailer. Just excitement. Oh, sorry.
I'm like, I can't see it.
He's watching it by himself again.
Entering the jump point perimeter.
So, you know they're on the peak. I know it says Saber, but they're on the freaking peak, everybody.
Yeah.
And then you look at that. That's totally dark energy. Dark energy. So
Right.
it turned purple. So there's
Okay,
some
so
chaos
again,
in
big
it.
deal. I love the way, because she's such a kid.
Yes. Oh, I love that. He's
Big
all,
Fury, hi.
Fury. Is this a test? You're just like, oh my god. And then you see that the thing that she went in was purple.
Right. And then
so
right here. So
that's-
here's the end of the Marvels. Or of Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. And okay, so pause, because I got a couple things. All right, before we go in. So the peak is called Saber in this, but so I don't know what that means, but that's kind of cool. And
Sword.
the blue energy is the dark energy. We know Wanda is chaos, right? She has chaos magic, and her magic is red. So we do the blue and the red together, it makes purple. All three of these characters have either blue and red or purple energies. So that, I think that's why they become entangled, like they're all connected with that chaos part of it. So, but I think it's something else that goes into it later in this. But yeah, so there's that. So just remember that. Just kind of look for when you can see purple. All right.
Right.
Okay.
Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
And then
And I love how excited she gets.
Yeah, did I get it? And then I love Monica's outfit.
And you, I could
It is freaking
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right there, right? And then she
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of
And she just gets so happy.
like again.
And I'm just like, oh my god.
And I love that Kamala just wakes up and then she sees her working.
She's like, oh, kitty.
Flurkin.
Flurkin just eats everything.
I love Flurkin.
Flurkin's
I
the
love it.
best.
And I mean, look at this. Look at it.
Fight scenes are like really well done. It just kind of what?
Look
Oh my
at the
god!
baby
Look at all those
Flurkin.
Flurkins.
Baby Flurkin. Oh, it's so great. And then you know this is like the end fight scene because they're working together. And
Right.
it's like,
And they have their
holy
powers.
crap. Yeah. Well, no, they're still entangled, but they know where they're gonna move to because they know what they've learned the pattern.
What they've
'cause
done,
been
right.
training together. Yeah.
Right. The other thing I
So-
really like about this whole thing, because we were talking through the whole thing, but like what I really liked about this was the choice in music is,
Oh my gosh.
you know, they've got Intergalactic by Beastie Boys playing, and it's like, oh my god, this is like nostalgia on the level of Guardians of the Galaxy, you know.
Well, and also if you think about it, because the first time we actually see her in like the whole like actual timeline would be the 90s, and
Right.
we got ourselves some Beastie Boys. So of course it's gonna be that. And if they had picked another song, they would have cheated themselves. This was the perfect song for that trailer. So, and I'm hoping it's gonna be in the actual movie.
Right.
Because that'll be 2 Beastie Boys songs and 2 movies in the same year in the MCU.
Right.
'Cause,
'Cause, what's the one in Guardians? It's
It's not gonna stop till Brooklyn or something. Like that.
Don't Stop Till Brooklyn. That's
Don't
right.
stop till Brooklyn. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I'm listening to that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 mixtape.
What are you listening to it on?
Actually, I have the Apple Music, and
I can't find
you
it on
want to
Apple Music.
know.
And I'm going to need you to send that to me.
Yeah, well, here's what it is, because I subscribe.
So do
I
I.
have an iPhone. I subscribe to Apple Music through my iPhone.
So do I.
And
And I can't find it.
you can't find it? Okay, I'll show you. I'm telling you, I got the first two. Like I said, hey, I want the first two.
Mm-hmm.
And No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Thanks, Ark. You're the best, Butter.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
Yeah. And it automatically downloaded the third one for me. And I just noticed it yesterday. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta use it. So, anyway.
I own the first two too. Damn it. How come it just doesn't?
You know what? Apple likes me better than you.
Because like now I'm looking at like my downloaded stuff. It's like, oh, I've got the first two albums right here.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
it's the complete mix. Look for the complete mix. That's what I have.
Okay. Now just send me the share link later.
Okay, I will.
So yeah, guys, I'm definitely giving this and I'm just jumping right into it, right? I'm definitely giving this and this is a trend we've done all day. 10 constructs from Kamala Khan out of 10 different versions of Captain Marvel, because there's like 20 of them within the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say Marvel universe, I mean the comics, not the not the movies. We got 3 of them out of because technically her Monica's mom was a version of Captain Marvel too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was Photon, and
right.
I think and then Monica was Photon, and then Spectrum, and I think she's
supposed to be Spectrum in this, right? She's supposed to be Spectrum in this, right?
I actually think they may do Photon.
Okay.
But the costume that she has is more Spectrum.
It is very Spectrum.
Yeah. So I don't know, and it's movies. It's the movie, so it's Elseworld. So anyway, here's what I'm gonna jump in front of you, James. Not to protect you, but to go ahead of you.
Ladies first.
That's why I went first.
Exactly.
I ain't no lady. No, so there were some things that we didn't talk about. The villain that they're fighting, she has a bracelet like Kamala's.
A bangle.
And a bangle. Yeah, a bangle like Kamala's. They're bracelets, but yeah. And
kind of proves
they are bangles. They call them bangles, but right. bangles actually swish around, and bracelets fit. Mm-hmm. I may have done it for a living for a little while, just FYI. So we didn't talk about that, and I think that's important. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't really talk about the villain. She's supposed to be playing Dar Ben, and we got that confirmed in the press kit. So from Disney, so it's Dar Ben, and I know Dar Ben in the comics is a male, so it looks like they're gender bending.
Again, and again, yeah. I don't have an issue with them gender bending if it makes sense. Like I do
it does.
Problem with Marvel being a woman. Like I thought that was actually a really good call to make Marvel a woman.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and I do too. And it does seem like they are and when Carol came back and they relaunched the Captain Marvel comic, mm-hmm. it was very like she fought women. That was weird. So she fought women and all sorts of things. And, but so it was much more like female empowerment. And mm-hmm. so I think that's where they're going with it. But I'm going to give it 10. Oh, I got to do this right. 10 Kamala's excitements out of 10 Flurkin.
Flurkin. Oh my god! Nick Fury. Hi.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
Is this an audition?
Did I get in?
Is this an Avengers audition? She's so cool. Like I love Iman Vellani, especially that being her first like acting gig ever. She wasn't an actress before that, right? Like this was her first acting gig, and she perfectly nails that character.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Oh,
to see
yeah.
other things that she does because she is a really good actress for somebody who's never done it before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She
Mhm.
is I have a feeling part of it though is because she's kind of the fangirl herself.
Right.
But no,
Yeah,
she
totally.
does. She has like all the emotional beats.
Yeah.
She's got it. She in spades. I
Yeah.
have already secretly adopted her because I love her that much. And I have to say, I was already excited about this movie, but now I am a Mon Vellani excited about this movie.
Yeah, I can also
Outside
say,
in space.
I can also
I
say,
am
Shooting it
Mon
next year in.
Vellani. I am. I'm
even
like,
though her character is only like 17, she is like 24. So I can say I have a light crush on Amon Milani.
no, she's marrying my son.
Yeah, she's
No, she's marrying my
Okay,
son.
it's getting weird.
I've already decided. He and I both decided. He approves. I approve. It's gonna happen.
yeah.
Nice. I'm into this. I like this. Fun trailer. I will say I am a little nervous. I'm a little skeptical on certain things.
Mute him. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this let me give it to you. So, how hyped you are on Miss Marvel
Mhm.
and her excitement, and how crazy and excited and happy she is. I think they're going to have Brie Larson play Captain Marvel the exact opposite. Like she's going to be that kind of stone cold attitude that she had like in Endgame.
Yeah.
And it really turned people off, where it's just like, why is she have no emotions? What is happening? I think it's going to be like
she
this.
was trying to be sassy, like sarcastic, and like
Right.
Yeah.
and fun and that. I think she's gonna do more than that. I think it's gonna be that reluctant older sister. Why do I have to take her everywhere with me?
Gotcha.
Kind of thing.
Especially because you have a 17-year-old running around that has powers. And it's like,
Exactly.
oh God. I have
And
to-
then you've got Monica and Monica's beef.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
And just their
Mhm.
relationship in general,
That's
So-
what I'm saying. Like, I really want to like love Captain Marvel, but like I haven't got behind her because of like the way she's been portrayed. It's just very like too plain, too
Stoic.
unemotional. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it, so I'm a little concerned about that. And then Monica comes in and she's like the cool person in the room, like, all right, everybody, check it out. I'm Monica.
Yeah.
This is what's happening right now. Everybody shut up and listen to me.
Mhm.
So I'm
Hate
a
to say
little concerned about that.
Yeah, hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it at the same time. Now that the X-Men are going to be a part of the Marvel universe,
Yeah.
I kind of want Rogue to
Depower her.
not absorb Miss Marvel, but absorb Carol Danvers.
Well, I mean, that's who she did originally, and there's
Right.
no reason that they can't do that.
Right.
Because if you think she's OP, right? So it would be perfect that if they did that, so she wasn't as OP for whatever threats are coming. So it's not like, hey, just send Carolyn, we'll all go to lunch. Like it's, so.
Yeah, because I mean that's what I liked about what they did in Justice League with Superman is the cartoon is they had to downgrade how strong Superman was in order to make it so that threats could feel like the entire team were involved.
Yeah.
That you needed to fight. You needed the entire Justice League to fight these threats. You kind of have to do the same thing with Carol Danvers because Carol Danvers is so OP right now. Like both her and Wanda are so overpowered that they can take on Thanos by themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have a theory about that kind of. About the whole thing. Like they've gotten rid of all the heavy hitters, and this was King's plan all along.
Right.
So that's why he let Thanos do what he did.
Right.
Because he knew it was going to take out some of the heavy hitters. So anyway, it's James's turn. He needs to rate this because he's
James
saying,
gives a rating.
yeah.
Oh, is it? Let me see. I give
Set
this.
our expectations low, James. Come on.
I give this 7 bangles out of 10 Nick Fury eye patches.
Oh,
Look at you.
kept it
You
in
guys
the
are
accessories.
hurting.
Oh yeah, that hurt. Like
But see, that's the thing. Like,
hurt my chest, sir.
I love
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. She's fun. It's just everything else is just like, I just don't know what's gonna happen with
Yeah, but you said
with
you liked
Captain
Monica,
Marvel.
right?
I like Monica. She's
I-
great.
So
I
that's
think-
2 out of 3.
And-
So that would be at least a 7.
I think,
And it got a 7.
yeah, that's what
Oh,
this
I
is.
thought you said 6.
No,
Okay,
he
I'm
didn't
not, I'm
give
not
7.
that. Yeah, 7's fine.
Because I think Monica and Kamala are gonna save this, and I think that Carol's basically gonna be playing off of the two of them because they are the more interesting characters at this point with the way that they've portrayed Carol.
Yeah. Well, and in the first movie, she was buddied up with Samuel Jackson,
Right.
who knows how to play Nick Fury
Right.
and does it very, very, very well. So
Right.
he was on point. And then you had Jude Law, and you had freaking Warren Beatty's wife. What's her name? Annette Bening.
Annette Bening. Yeah.
In there too. And so
Annette
they're all-
Funicello.
Annette Funicello. Annette Penne. So yeah, so you had all of those people and they knew they had locked in, but none of them were high energy people. And she didn't really have like a high energy buddy.
Right.
really
And now you have a
feed off of.
Marmalani
Yeah.
who is 100% that, like that character, because again, she's such a fangirl. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's great that you have an actress that's a fangirl playing a character that's a fangirl
Mhm.
who is famous in Marvel for being a fangirl. Like
Yeah.
it's she she knew
She's
everything about the
perfect.
Avengers, before becoming an Avenger, and it's like it's so
Yeah.
great, And then I hope that she's
I
the
think
version
that's
of
gonna be
Marvel.
good.
Yeah, like I hope that she's the version of Marvel that leads the Young Avengers.
Mhm.
Also, Civil War 2 needs to happen because I want to see Captain America up against Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
especially Sam.
Yeah, I
Because
would love
Sam's
to
gonna
see
be
Sam.
flirting.
100%, but I want to see Sam Wilson and Captain Marvel, a less OP Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
go up against each other.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting. I like where they're going in the story.
Mhm.
I think having all 3 of them and they have to work together, I
Right.
think that's going to be the heart of the story, like the meat and the bones of it. And I think that's what's going to do it. So as long as that works well, and just from the little bit we saw, it looks like it does. That whole thing where all 3 of them are kind of standing in
Mhm.
like the spider guys pointing at each other. But
Yeah.
she, they're all standing and it's like, and she's like, so we're a team. And they both look
We're
at
not
each
a
other and
team.
they're like, we're not a team. No, we're not a team. It's like so you can see that she's already impacting them in that. So it does, you kind of see that blossoming, that it's actually going to be more of a family story than the first one.
So
Yeah.
is the big baddie, is she from Miss Marvel's, like the other universe or other dimension thing that
the Nor dimension?
yeah.
I don't think so. I'm toying with the idea that the artifacts are Kree, all of them, the 10 rings and both bangles.
Okay.
That would
And
make
they're
sense.
other artifacts we don't know about. I think when you get them all together, they might create some sort of power armor. And I think that may be the thing. There may be a prophecy or something about it. But the villain, Dar-Ben, she has one of the bangles, and I think she's the one that caused the entanglement.
Okay.
And if
That
Shang-Chi
makes sense.
had his rings on, he would have been impacted as well in some way, because I think the 10 rings are part of it. So
Okay.
What I like about this, especially with your not prediction, but the kind of the direction that you're going with on this,
yeah.
is this is early establishment for getting a proper apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize that the reason that Apocalypse sucked so hard inside of in the Apocalypse movie was because he didn't have his Kree enhancements, because they couldn't do the Kree. And it's
Right.
like, Apocalypse without Kree enhancements is just a dude that lives forever, and that's garbage. So
And he's kind of purple.
and he's kind of purple, right? You know, but like, you know, you do Apocalypse with the Kree enhancements. That's where he can grow. That's where he has his super strength and everything like that. And that's where he's like an actual world threat, you know? So it's like, you know, that's establishing that once we get the X-Men, that we can get a proper version of Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think we're going to get at least a mention of the Shi'ar in this because, I mean, this is Kree, and the Kree are, you know, power hungry, and they like dominated the Shi'ar forever. And so I think we'll start hearing Shi'ar, and that'll be like, if we start hearing that in this movie, I think that's our cue that the X-Men are coming. Right. Because they can't not do it. You know, it's like, come on, guys.
And I mean, that's a way. I don't know if they'll do it in this movie because they still have Secret Wars or a Secret Invasion to deal with. But at some point, we do have to get we have to get to the Shi'ar and Skrull wars, and everything like that, because the Kree were involved in that too. You know, you kind of just start getting into more of these like cosmic civilizations fighting, and the Shi'ar end up leading into like they can lead into Dark Phoenix, but we get more like Starjammers and things like that, and you know, we get more Lilandra and stuff like that. So it's like,
and I'm more of the opinion, let's just like have it happen after Dark Phoenix. Let that be a story that is told down the line, but it's actually happened before.
Right. It's kind of like, you know, I do want to see a proper Phoenix, but not right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's so many better stories that they can do, and we've just beaten the Phoenix storyline to death.
Well, and there's so many mutants that are important in the MCU that aren't her. Like Beast is really important, and Nightcrawler is really important. Like they all have these different importance levels, but you know, that's like the Captain Britain squad, like that. You know.
Or the other fun thing that they could do is not do Dark Phoenix, but like, you know, establish that the Phoenix Force is a thing, and you know, like, because the Phoenix Force technically is a villain, so it's like, you know, it just kind of like fighting the Phoenix Force in a different iteration that's not involving the X-Men, and then down the road, because the character's already established, then we can do a Dark Phoenix somewhere way down the line.
Well, you can even start establishing it now, because it was such it was a slow burn story anyway, so that you absolutely can do like start it with just her starting that little tiny bit of corruption, and you know, but do it after she gets the Phoenix Force, or do it after the whole Dark Phoenix saga, and Jean's nowhere to be found because they think she's dead, and then you can introduce some other characters, and then you bring Jean back to life, and then you deal with that fallout. That would to me is probably the best way to do it. But whatever.
You guys went way deep cosmic.
Yeah, we did.
We ended up talking about the X-Men because everything leads to the X-Men.
I mean, because we're gonna get the X-Men eventually. We know they're coming at some point. You know, with Deadpool 3, we're gonna be getting some heavy establishment with the X-Men. I'm pretty sure, like I've been saying for a while, that Deadpool 3 is gonna be our proper introduction to the X-Men.
Oh, definitely. I think we'll start. That's why I think we'll start hearing little like Shi'ar and different things that are associated with the X-Men, but not. So
there's just things that exist within that world, so in that way storylines are already set up and they can just kind of dive into it, and you don't have to fully explain who the Shi'ar are. You know, now that they exist, okay, it's kind of how, like, you know, the Kree are just kind of integrated in everything in Marvel now.
Yeah, and I don't remember anybody going, hello, let me give you a 25-minute recap on who the Kree are. And, you know, I mean, you didn't get that. Hi, welcome to Krees Are Us. I don't know.
So with that
let's move on, because I'm tired of talking of Marvel now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time
for the download.
Don't forget, check out the Distance Nerdington post on Facebook. All the trailers, all the reactions, all the rumors are there for you. Distance Nerdington post on Facebook. All right, let's get into some news.
On the book
we got some news before the news before the Star Wars news. So Let's start off with some monstrous news. So the filmmaking team behind the relaunch of the Scream franchise, Radio Silence, has signed on to develop an untitled monster thriller for Universal Pictures. I'm excited for this. Where's Graveyard?
I know Graveyard should be here to talk about this, but he's
I
playing
know.
Destiny, so it's fine.
Oh, it's his destiny to miss this.
It's
All we know about the film is that it's in the same vein as The Invisible Man and Renfield. I guess Renfield's doing really well or something like that. People are
Well,
talking
it
about
hasn't come
Renfield.
out yet, but I am so excited for it.
I know, but there's a good amount of buzz behind it.
Oh, definitely.
Which is interesting because Renfield seems kind of like a comedy.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
And The Invisible Man was a very serious like thriller. So I mean, like, I do like the science aspect of The Invisible Man. So it's kind of like, it's kind of cool where they're going.
Well, I feel like you have to go that way with him, like, because technology has advanced so much.
Right.
Whereas back then it was magic. It's magic, you know.
Yeah. Now it's like, suppression technology along with active camo, which is super good idea.
Yeah.
Active camo.
Yeah, active
camo. That's what that was.
Okay.
But then it's like you got like The Mummy. Like, how do you and they did that a while ago with Brendan Fraser, and that was totally like big epic like action movie, right?
Well, do you bring in that version, or do you create a new version but that's more faithful to The Mummy itself?
I think we're getting to that part in nostalgia where you want to go back to it, because think about how well Werewolf by Night did, like how everybody was talking about it was so brilliant, and that was what they did. They went back to that old, practical monster movie, and I think we're ready for that. We've been dipping our toes in the horror genre for 15 years now again.
Horror's making a ton of money.
Yeah, so I don't see
those
horror going anywhere.
Movies. So Radio Silence was supposed to direct the movie after Scream 6, but Paramount wants a 7th Scream movie, of course.
Of course.
So they're supposed to do the next movie after Scream 7 and go forward from there. So yeah, we got some time. See what happens, right?
Yeah,
right? I'm into it.
Again, I'm into the idea of this.
If it's making money, I'm for it, but I won't be watching them.
I want good
chances are, because I don't do horror.
Yeah, I just want good story. I don't care, that you're making a movie that has Frankenstein in it, Frankenstein's monster, that you have a movie that has the werewolf or the Mummy or Phantom of the Opera, how they have on in the picture there. Like, I don't care. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like, I don't care what characters you're doing. I want good story. I want it to be cohesive. And when you have good individual stories and then you put them together in a way where all of them make sense in the same universe, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I
mean, it goes back to the story. If it's a good story, it doesn't matter what genre it is. People are gonna be drawn to it. Like, I will watch horror movies with good stories.
Yeah.
So.
Again, the Mummy movies, the ones with Brendan Fraser, save for the third one, the first 2 movies were actually really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if they go along that route where you have just good character development and good character storytelling, then I'm all for it.
Oh, absolutely. And I actually liked the third one too, for what it was, but it had so many people, like Michelle Yeoh was in it. She played.
Yeah, but it was more just the story wasn't that good in the third one, and I didn't.
Yeah, it was
kind of like changed out so many characters, so many.
Two Academy Award winners.
Yeah.
In that movie, thank you very much.
That movie became more spectacle, so it's just kind of like they tried to do a little more spectacle than they did story, whereas the first 2 movies they focused more on the story. So it's kind of like and they were just trying to cash in on, where else can we do a Mummy? Okay, we can do was it the
Chinese,
or was it the Qin Empire?
I can't remember which empire it was.
It was one of the dynasties, and it was just kind of like, we're gonna cash in on another mummy from a different area of the world, and they just did not do it correctly. They could have done so much better of a story with that.
Yeah, that story was pretty thin.
Say hi to your mommy for me.
Say hi
All
to
right, let's keep going.
Yep. So I was gonna say here. Let me go back over to this page. So DC sneaking in some news this week, guys. DC Studio.
Lopez's girl had a question about the Scream movie.
Oh,
That's
what
what's on
was the
there.
question?
It says, "What would they do with it?" It ended pretty well.
I
I
mean,
have no idea. I haven't seen it. So I don't know.
it would probably be a conclusion. So there would probably be like, okay, they're like finally ending everything going on in the story. And again, it's more they're just trying to cash in on it than they are trying to like, continue, oh yeah, we think there's more story that needs to be done. They're just like make another story because we want money.
Yeah.
I like money.
I like money.
Money.
So going back to this DC story here, guys, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn recently took to Twitter to answer some questions from fans about a variety of upcoming DC projects. All of these details were dropped while most of the internet was focusing on all of the Star Wars news coming out of Star Wars Celebration. Two of the biggest projects that he offered updates on were Peacemaker Season 2 and Waller. What do you guys think of that? Because I am excited for both of those, and I'm happy that they're still happening.
I forget that like this stuff is news because I follow him on Twitter, and so I read all of this stuff as it's happening, and I'm like, James Gunn, he's such a good guy. He's actually answering these questions. He could just be like, guys, can't tell you anything, but he's actually telling people stuff, and he's having the conversations with people, and that's what I think is amazing. So out of this whole story, it's like whether we get a second season of Peacemaker in the Waller series or not, him engaging with the fans and answering their questions as best as he can, I think is this real story of it. But yeah, I never think that this is news because I follow him on Twitter, so I'm just like, oh yeah, James is just he's just answering questions,
Right. I like the idea that because he's already said Creature Commandos is coming out before Superman Legacy. Waller's going to come out if it comes out before Superman Legacy, then if it's done on time, then they'll release it beforehand. But I like the idea of us getting more establishment of Amanda Waller pre-Superman, because then they can start getting into like Project Cadmus and things like that.
I'm so ready for stuff like that.
Right. And then
Checkmate.
Right. And then Creature Commandos being something that it's an animated thing. It's going to be kind of fun to see that ahead of time. So I mean, like, I'm excited for everything that James Gunn is kind of releasing and talking about. And I mean, the fact that Peacemaker, so he did confirm that Peacemaker Season 2 would happen after Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
So if we have Superman Legacy first and then Peacemaker Season 2 comes out, what references to Superman Legacy are we going to get in Peacemaker?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much, and him like saying, hey, if everything goes the way we want, it'll be this way. And he's not making like, no, we're going to get it out at this time. He's just like, look, guys, I can only work on one thing at a time,
right.
As far as writing. And I think that's great. I do. I think he is the leader they needed for DC for several reasons.
Yeah.
But probably for the most, it's just the way he communicates with fans, the way that he's out there. He's just out there and he's just talking. And I think that's great. And he has no problem calling out someone on something.
Oh, absolutely not. Because there have been people who've been like, you should do this or you should do that. Like, well, here's the reason I'm not doing that. And it's like, I love that he does that.
Yeah. And so, it's great in that aspect. Peacemaker's so far down on my list of things that I think are priorities for DC.
I just loved what he did with that, because it was like, again, what he did with Guardians. You just take a minor character that nobody cares about in the comics and he
made him super cool,
but like super front and center, right? And John Cena killed that role, so it was just like,
I think it's gonna happen. I'm just like, I'm more interested in that. Really, the first thing they're putting out is animated, which in the past they have had slam dunk after slam dunk in animation. So you go with your strengths and then you pull out your, platinum character that is Superman, and that's what you swing with. And then you've got this other stuff to really kind of fall back on. And I think that's where he's most focused right now. And so the other stuff, he's like, this will happen after because I'm working on this.
Right.
And I just think that's great. So, and I'm done talking now.
No worries. So keeping it in DC, you want to take the next one?
I can, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of DC dates, and no, I would not date Jason Momoa. Thank you very much.
I would date
No,
Jason
he's
Momoa. I'm
not.
straight.
He's not. He's not my thing. I think he's funny. I would happily go and hang out with him in a bar and like you just hang with him, but I'm not interested in him romantically at all. In any like no long weekend, nothing. Not one night stand or anything. So.
And Lopez's girl just saying in the chat, Superman Legacy would be great if first, then Peacemaker after. That's the plan. That's what he's saying he's going to do is Superman first, then Peacemaker after that.
Yeah,
jumping real quick back to Peacemaker and all that. I think there's going to be a bottleneck because a lot of this is all on James Gunn. Peacemaker, Waller, Superman Legacy. It's all on his back to write it or direct it or a combination of it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it may be spaced out further where so he can write it, but we don't know. He may have already written part of Waller, you know, before he started Superman. So we don't know where everything is in the process. So anyway, getting back to this, Warner Brothers has done some Hollywood shuffle and updated release dates for some films. The biggest news is that James Wong's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is going 5 days earlier on Wednesday, December 20th this year instead of Christmas Day. What do we think about that?
That's interesting that they're doing it 5 days ahead of time. And I don't know what other movies are coming out around Christmas, but like, you know, maybe they're trying to avoid the Christmas rush, or maybe they think that because it's on Christmas, or it was on Christmas that they weren't going to have as big returns. So, you know, if we do it 5 days before, then we can have larger returns. Get
that build up to actual Christmas. So, you know, keep it going. Yeah, I think it's probably more of a profit strategy than anything else.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, it's 5 days. It's not a huge thing, but it is interesting because most of the time when you hear news like this, they're being delayed. So it was cool to see 5 days ahead of time instead. So now The Wise Guys from director Barry Levinson, it will open on February 2nd of 2024. And that film stars Robert De Niro, Deborah Messing, and Catherine Narducci with Irwin Winkler producing.
Okay.
The mobster film pushes Warner Brothers animated. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the. I don't know anything about The Wise Guys, so if
I don't either.
Tell. So, but it's.
I didn't even know that was coming out. But I mean, like again, the cast that's a pretty decent cast, and Barry Levinson makes pretty good movies. So.
And so I think that's kind of neat. All right, so the mobster film pushes Warner Brothers animated Toto off that date, and for the moment, that Wizard of Oz feature is updated.
It's undated. Yeah, I mean, more than likely.
Undated, sorry.
More than likely, I mean, there's probably something with the story that's not working out, or, you know, Warner Brothers has a tendency to just cut films because it's like, oh, we don't like the way this is turning out, so we're just going to cut it.
Yeah. It could be that, you know, Toto they're not meeting his demands. We don't know. He might be pulling a diva. Well, you know.
Only wants golden biscuits in his trailer.
Right, exactly. I'm making them as quick as I can. All right, the long gestating Minecraft movie from director Jared Hess with Jason Momoa, another Momoa. You know, if he made mimosas, I would date him then. Anyway, gets an April 4, 2025 release date. Warner Brothers always had the date reserved for an untitled film. So do you think that this was the film that they had it set for, or this one just happened to get to the point in development that they could put it in that date?
I think it was more like that because they've had this one in development for a while. So pretty sure that they just kind of moved it there, and whatever that untitled film is either got cut because they didn't announce it, or they're getting ready to just move that to a different date.
Yeah, I thought it was probably more just, this one got, you know,
right.
We greenlit this one because everybody loves Minecraft. I don't understand why anyone would see a movie about that game. That game, you make it yourself. So don't get it. They're just gonna
there's a story.
like tap on crap the whole
Yeah.
time.
I mean, there is like a storyline adventure mode now. I've never. I'm not a big Minecraft fan. I've never been a Minecraft fan, and that's part of the reason why I don't like. What's the game that all the kids play right now?
Minecraft.
Not Minecraft. Minecraft with guns.
Fortnite.
That's why I don't like Fortnite. Is because it's basically Minecraft with guns, and I've never liked that game. Lopez's girl. I'm sorry that you had that experience with him. We've actually met him, and he was cool with us.
You know what it is that he just has people around him that are paid to like keep people from taking pictures of him while he's trying to be cool. That's what it felt like when we saw Mama. It was just like, these guys are rude, like the bodyguard dudes. But
Yeah,
his bodyguard dudes were kind of like, kind of intimidating, kind of like, those dudes were the ones that kind of seemed like they were off. But like Jason himself, when we met him, he was cool. We met him twice at this point, and he was cool both times.
Well, that's cool.
All right, let's keep going.
He may have been having a bad day too. So
yeah.
All right, in coulda, shoulda, woulda news, the Lego Batman movie was a huge success, hit all the box office critical acclaim, and all the fans loved it. But Lego has ended its partnership with Warner Brothers and landed at Universal, leaving the characters from the film in limbo. I didn't even think about that, but we're not going to get a follow-up to the Lego Batman movie because of that. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Kind of sucks because it was a good movie. Like,
I loved it.
Really good.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Will Arnett was hilarious in it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, I'm a little bummed by this too. So I will tell you something. My husband, and I don't think he cares. My husband falls asleep during every Lego movie. He can't stay awake. He wanted to watch this whole movie, and he's never been able to watch it all the way through.
Lego Batman was really good. Just, again, the jokes that were in there, the way they played it. I love the way that the Joker just references every version of the Joker.
Yeah.
As himself.
Oh yeah.
And it's Zach Galifianakis doing it. It's like, it's the greatest.
So good. So good.
Yeah, no, the whole thing, and the whole Barbara Gordon and her being I'm the commissioner, and she's like, no, I'm really Batgirl. I mean, that whole thing was just hilarious. It was such a cute movie. I loved it so much. But yeah, it's the shutter speed. It's how they film it. It puts him to sleep for some reason. So he has never seen a full Lego movie.
Interesting. Okay. So we're never going to see the movie, but director Chris McKay has offered fans a little insight as to what could have expected to see in the second film. So in a recent interview with Uproxx, McKay explained, we had a really fun script with Dan Harmon and Michael Waldron. Dan Harmon
was writing it?
Yeah.
Oh, that would
like the
great.
Community, right?
Yeah. Community,
Rick and Morty, right?
Rick and Morty. Yeah, he's creator Rick and Morty.
Solar Opposites.
Solar Opposites is another one of his. Yeah. He's a really good writer. He's a very smart writer.
He's an alcoholic as well.
Oh,
he got sober. Yeah, he got sober, but like during Community, he was like a raging drinker.
Oh wow.
That's
apparently like the first couple years he was not fun to be with.
That's why Justin Roiland is in the hot trouble that he's in right now, or he was in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dan Harmon, Michael Waldron wrote a really fun kind of Super Friends script. The sequel would have been a quasi Super Friends movie, and the structure was going to be a sort of Godfather 2 kind of thing, with Batman and the Justice League facing a modern day problem, Lex Luthor and OMAC. Not OMAC.
That's cool.
While at the same time flashing back to the reasons why Batman and the Justice League, and in particular Superman, have bad blood. Ooh, interesting. It was going to explore Superman and Batman's relationship in a very different way than you've ever seen it portrayed, including Superman's alienation from humanity and how hard it'd be to truly be friends, real friends for years. Interesting. It was ultimately going to answer the question, how do you become super friends? And there was going to be a crossover with a major franchise that can only happen in a Lego movie.
That means we were going to get Marvel characters in there.
Exactly, right? We're going to get like the Avengers in it.
Right. And then the other thing is, I mean, if Channing Tatum wasn't playing Superman again, then I wasn't going to watch it anyways.
Well,
Wow.
Channing Tatum as Superman in the Lego movie was awesome.
Oh yeah, he was great as Superman. No, so didn't the third Lego Batman game wasn't it like that where it was like him and all the superheroes? I haven't played in a while.
I stopped playing the Lego Batman game after this. I think like I played the first one and then I just never kept playing those games.
I want to say, well, I mean, that was the time my son was growing up, so those were the games we played together. And yeah, I'll have to go look in my Lego game,
Library,
and I'll have to tell you guys because I think in one of them he does have all of the heroes. It's like Lego Batman 3.
Because there is a Lego
Superheroes or something.
There is a Lego Super Friends game, or it's. Oh no, I'm thinking of Lego Avengers. They had a Lego Avengers game.
Yeah, I liked that one too. We played that one. So.
All right, let's keep it going. Netflix is up to something strange. A new Stranger Things animated series has been ordered from Netflix.
Didn't we talk about this before, or was it was in the rumors?
It must have been rumors.
In the rumors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the show's set within the established world of Stranger Things, of course. The project is being developed by Eric Robles and Flying Bark Productions. Robles previously created the animated shows Random Cartoons, Fanboy, and Chum Chum, and the Glitch Techs.
I'm not familiar with any of those.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm familiar with Chum Chum, believe it or not. I don't know why, but I am.
Is it Cartoon Network or?
I can't remember where I saw it. You know what? My husband likes a lot of Japanese manga and anime and all that, so that's probably where I've heard it and what I've probably seen one episode. So.
Okay,
gotcha. All right, so Stranger Things creators, the Duffer Brothers, are executive producing via Upside Down Pictures with Robles as well, and Sean Levy and Dan Cohen of 21 Laps. Oh, interesting. Upside Down Pictures and 21 Laps are currently under overall deals with Netflix.
Which makes sense that both of those are like they're collaborating together.
Hey, you know what? It's time for a churro.
It's time for a churro.
Yeah.
Let's do it. By the way, the 5th and final season of the flagship Stranger Things series hits Netflix in 2024. Tell me about churros.
So the fan favorite Star Tours attraction at Disney's theme parks is about to get a big update. You had to think that it was going to at some point because of all the other stuff that they were putting down there. So Lucasfilm announced at Star Wars Celebration that 3 new Star Wars locations will be added to the ride, and they will bring new stories, characters, and adventures to the experience. What do you guys think about that? Where would you like to see him go?
I'm sure they're going to go to
Say it.
What's the planet from?
Say it. No, from Mandalorian. Say it.
Oh, from to Mandalore? I don't think they're going to do Mandalore.
No, from the Mandalorian.
No.
Say it.
He wants me to say Navarro.
Yes, we're going to Navarro. Yes.
He wants me to say his last name. That's all it is.
We're going to Navarro.
No, what's the planet from Force Awakens?
Exegol?
No.
The planet that the ships.
Ireland? I think it's called Ireland.
Oh, the sand planet. The one where they find Rey.
What is wrong?
Jakku.
I'm thinking like these obscure planets that they were on for like 5 minutes or something, and you're like Jakku.
I thought you were talking about the one Luke was on.
No, because the reason I think Jakku would make sense is because they did show down planet stuff over there. They showed the Millennium Falcon scene where they're like flying through the downed AT-ATs and and the Star Destroyers and stuff like that. So I think that would make sense to have Star Tours fly through.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a battle scene there, so I mean, like you can just fly into that battle scene.
I would like Naboo. I think Naboo would be cool.
Naboo would be dope. I think, don't they have Naboo on the new one?
Is it on the new one? I
I
haven't
don't
been
know.
in forever, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, like,
Or Coruscant, you know, like how cool
yeah.
that is.
You
And
know
you
what's
know what?
funny is
We
like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what's funny is like when you walk out of the ride and you're going like seeing the scenes of visit this planet or visit here. Coruscant's one of the ones that's there, but you've never actually gone to Coruscant. Coruscant and Bespin are like the two
Yeah.
things that are there that is like, well, how come they don't go to Coruscant and Bespin on these? So I mean, it would make sense for them to add those as well.
Well, and we've started seeing more Coruscant, like in Andor, we saw it, and we're seeing it in The Mandalorian. So
Mhm.
it does make sense to go ahead and do it because they are putting that in there. I mean,
Right.
they could do Lothal.
Lothal, yeah. I mean,
Lothal.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many they could do. So it just depends on which way they're going. I just kind of wanted to know what you guys like. If there was something you guys were like, yeah, we really want that.
You go to the glassed world of Mandalore and just see, like, you know, oh my God, what if you go to Mandalore while it's being glassed by the Empire?
Oh yeah,
That's super
Oh,
sad.
Thousand Tears.
That'd be messed up.
Yeah, that would be horrible. So the plan is to incorporate these new experiences next year in 2024. So
Oh, so they're already working on it.
yeah, so it's like what, 9 months?
What's cool about this is when they update Star Tours, they don't have to like close the ride because all they have to do is just build the animation for it and then
Yeah.
set up the MIDI, set up all the MIDI controls for it, and you know
Mhm.
everything will work.
I just thought it was so cool, and I thought it was so cool that if you had littler, like my son got into Star Wars pretty early,
Mhm.
and of course he did because I'm his mom, but he and so we went on that, and he just loved it. He thought it was so cool, and when we went to Disneyland, so it's that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff where the whole family can do it together. When the kids are young, so you can see how they experienced it as a child, like you experienced it as a child. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think Star Tours is one of those things that influenced me as a Star Wars fan as a kid.
Mhm.
You know, just kind of like
Yeah.
I was already I was lightly into Star Wars as a kid because I was more into like Batman and things like that. But I think, you know, between my cousins being into Star Wars and going to Star Tours, that's kind of what influenced my love for Star Wars.
It's just so immersive.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you really, and it's just so cool. And I think it was just like the first time I thought a world or a different universe could actually exist where all of this is actually real. You know, so it's really, they do spectacle so well with
Right.
Star Wars. And so yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
I think it's going to be
Whatever they
Navarro. Navarro's got to be one of them. It's
What if
got
they
to tie in
just
the
do-
Mandalorian.
You wish so hard, James.
But you know, can I tell you something real quick though? As much as like you guys rave about Star Tours, you know, and I think it's cool with the different combinations.
Mhm.
Secret time, I hate Star Tours because I get sick afterwards, and that feeling, you know, it's like sitting in a back seat when somebody's driving, and it's just
Oh yeah.
You're
horrible.
You're a motion sickness kind of guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so awful. Like by the
Remember,
time you get out, and like,
Remember, I jumped out of helicopters. I jumped out
I
of.
want to jump out of a helicopter if I'm
One of
bumping
my
around like Star
favorite-
Tours.
One of my favorite rides is that freaking haunted hotel. I think they changed it, but the last time we went, it was the haunted hotel where it just drops you. and then
Oh,
it takes you back and drops
The
you
Twilight
into-
Zone one.
Twilight Zone. So
Yeah.
LA or Florida still has the Tower of Terror,
Yeah, it was. Yes,
but
Tower
it's
of
the
Terror haunted
Guardian.
hotel.
It's Guardians of Galaxy Mission Breakout now in Disney.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that was like my favorite. Like,
See,
my
that
husband
one's
at the
fun,
time-
and that one doesn't get me sick. It's all the bumpiness of
Yeah.
Star Tours. I'm just like, oh, I just
And
want
you
to.
are staring at a
I'm gonna-
screen when
yeah.
it's happening. So yeah, that is.
I
Totally
want to
a
throw
motion
up on
sickness thing.
C-3PO. You know, it's awful. It's awful.
Well, we're gonna stay within the Star Wars universe, guys, but we're gonna dive deep.
But we're gonna get
Star Wars
off Star
Celebration.
Tours,
Right.
and actually talk about some of the.
Right. We're gonna dive really deep into Star Wars Celebration. Let's talk about all the things that they talked about at Celebration this week.
Whew. We got some
Celebrate
quick
good
ones.
times. Come on.
We got some quick ones here. So it's a celebration.
A celebration.
Dave Filoni's animated series Star Wars Tales of the Jedi is officially getting a second season. So that's
Excited
cool.
for this. 100% excited for this.
Trey, have you seen Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, Dooku's storyline, like the whole Dooku storyline they did made me kind of almost sympathize with Count
Yeah.
Dooku because you understand why he went to the dark side.
Yeah.
And it's just like, again, they nuanced it. It wasn't just like, I'm a bad guy. It was, the things that the Republic and that the Jedi are doing are just as bad as the things that the dark side's doing. And I feel like the dark side can get us to our goals in a better way than the Jedi can.
Yeah, you could argue that he was right, from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view. And then again, Ahsoka's kind of storyline on there, seeing young Qui-Gon. What we didn't get in there that I wish that hopefully I hope we get in season 2 was seeing some Cypher Dyas, because we didn't see any Cypher Dyas, and I was kind of expecting to see Cypher Dyas and his relationship with Count Dooku.
Yeah. So do you not think that they might pick 2 different Jedi?
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
I'm thinking that's what they're gonna do.
I think they will, but the thing is like I said, like I want to see a storyline with Master Cypher Dyas, because we haven't gotten anything live action. Everything with Cypher Dyas has been kind of like illusions and like stories of. It'd be nice to see Cypher Dyas in action.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And if this one, if it goes more, what about Tales of the Sith?
That would be dope.
There's some old school Sith in there that they could really bite down on.
Darth Bane, they could expand on Darth Bane, because Darth Bane has been an established character in Star Wars Clone Wars. So because they established him in Clone Wars, because he communed with Yoda, it would be cool to get a story of Darth Bane and his kind of like rise to power and starting the rule of 2.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I was thinking also
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, Plagueis would be cool.
Darth Plagueis the Wise would be another good one. I think we're supposed to be getting something soon that has a live action Darth Plagueis, because I think they announced something a while back.
Yeah, I just think it's cool. Like I would just, let's do both. If the force is balanced, then let's do both, so.
Oh no, what it was and we'll talk about this later, but Acolyte. They were talking about we might see a young Darth Plagueis in that.
Oh, that would make sense then. Yeah.
And Tales of the Jedi was kind of a offshoot or continuation of the Clone Wars style animation, so they might stay in like what we know from Clone Wars. So that's what I think. By the way, let's keep going because there's so much to get to. But we already kind of talked about the trailer. But Star Wars Visions Volume 2 is coming. Excited for this?
Yeah, and we kind of already talked about this in the trailer. So for those of you who are listening to the audio version, go on YouTube and watch us do
the trailer, because we get real deep down into it.
So Visions is going to have 9 new episodes. I think it's all different animation studios.
I think each one is like each.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
different from the first volume as well.
Right, because like we have Witty from Spain. There's a Cartoon Saloon out of Ireland, Punk Robot out of Chile, Ardman out of the United Kingdom, Studio Mir out of South Korea, Studio La Gachette out of France.
Was that your French accent?
Cachet? Studio La Cachette.
La Cachette.
I think it's Cachet because French don't pronounce stuff at the end. 88 Pictures out of India. The art, something in Japanese, and Trigger from South Africa. So I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of different studios, and I think specifically Artemon is the one that does
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions Volume 2 is coming May 4th. We talked about that earlier, about like 3 weeks.
Star Wars Day.
So we can all have a hangover buffet.
So let's see. Sequel season to Tales of the Jedi. Sequel season to Visions. We're also getting a 3rd season of Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
But
Bad
the
Batch.
issue is this is the last season of the
Minus
Bad
Ted.
Batch.
But like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
okay with them ending the show at a third season, mainly because we've like you can't tell too much story with the Bad Batch because they're in such a short timeline.
Mhm.
Well, and also, I mean, I think if you go too many seasons out, you're gonna start bumping up against other shows that
Right.
are, you know, that are set in a lot of the worlds they are set.
Right.
So I think that could also be part of it too. Or they might be bringing them to live action. We might start
And that
seeing
would be
them in live
cool.
action.
Like, that would be cool to see them like show up in like Andor because that takes place in
Mhm.
like the same timeline, right? Or the same
Yeah.
section of time, right? Like to see Clone Force 99 in live action would be cool. But I mean, like, again, there's not very many things where we can tell their story just because, you know, they've already told a lot of stories in that timeline and they're not going to really revisit that too much.
And then also, you know, there was the promise in the movies that the clones had an accelerated life, you know, so they would be spent much quicker. So they may all not have that much time left, you know.
Unless for some reason you're an ARC trooper and like half of those dudes somehow survived and they're just old men. Like you see how like at post episode 6 you still have like clones that are still alive somehow.
Yep.
And it's like, how they're supposed these dudes should have died a long time ago.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like, what the heck? Yeah.
That's the reason that the Empire went and did what they did, because they had these crappy, you know, they started recruiting, and that's why, like, you know, stormtroopers can't shoot the side of a building versus ARC troopers or clone troopers can kill anything that gets in front of them.
Yeah, but they just don't live long enough.
It could have been the chip. You got to remember, like, some of the clones took their chip out.
Yeah,
the
that's
Order
true.
66
Yeah.
chip. So
Yeah.
we shall see. Anyway, there was a trailer for season 3 that they showed at Star Wars Celebration,
But it hasn't been released.
but it has not been released.
They always they cock tease so hard.
Those cheeky monkeys.
Well, we just got the finale of season 2.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
it kind of ducktailed off that. So I don't think they wanted to release it publicly quite yet.
Right.
So we even had a description, but I didn't want to spoil season 2 quite yet. But
Right.
it's out
Because
there.
I mean, yeah, that season finale
I
spoiled the
appreciate
hell
you,
out of that.
James.
Mm-hmm. So the series will return for its third and final season in 2024. Speaking of returning,
Yes.
Lucasfilm debuted the first footage for the highly anticipated Star Wars project Andor Season 2 during the exciting presentation that hundreds of Star Wars fans attended. Not today. Series creator Tony Gilroy revealed the show's upcoming release date window for Disney Plus is next year.
So good.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm willing to wait
Yeah.
for this show. That's the thing. This is going to be that show that people are going to sleep on.
Yeah.
And then, like, 5 years from now, they're going to be like, "Oh my God, have you seen Andor?" And you're like, "Yeah, I saw it when it came out. Where were you?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a show I did not realize I wanted, right? Like, it was just kind of like, you know, I'm just thinking like, okay, why do I want an entire show about Cassian Andor? Like, I don't care enough about that character. Rogue, as good as I thought Rogue One was, I just didn't care enough about Cassian Andor, especially when they said K2SO wasn't going to be in it. I'm like, I don't care about Cassian Andor without K2SO at all.
They said K2SO wouldn't be in season 1.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, at the point where they left us, it makes sense that he hasn't met K2SO yet.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
that being said, like, watching Andor and hearing everybody rave about it, I didn't hear one person talk about K2SO.
No,
Like,
yeah.
Totally okay without having K2SO. In the
Well,
series.
it
Got
didn't.
Imperial droids to begin with. Like, I mean, we got those Imperial droids, just it wasn't K2SO. Like, everybody freaked out, like, K2SO. Oh no, never mind. He's just got a standard voice. But I mean, like, again, this was a show I didn't know I wanted, because once I started watching it, again, the same critique that I had for Rogue One is it brought war back into Star Wars, and you get that level of espionage, you get that level of, you know, these are the people who are, this is how you start a rebellion, this is how you start a war, is with the actions that we get in this, and we needed this in order, because Star Wars, started going away from war and started going more into like mystical magic and kind of it wasn't like a war thing, and this goes into the people on the ground fighting a war, and that's what makes me appreciate this show so much more.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I did want it, but it was because I have always been interested in that time frame right before. Like, what happened right before Leia got the plans? What happened, that. So I loved Rogue One for that part of it. And I was like, well, I mean, okay, Andor, he's just kind of a jerk the whole time. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But I wanted it to be about the two, the blind guy and his companion. That's what I wanted. I was like, this is who I want. I want to hear their story.
Yeah.
But
interesting. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to get some backstory on them.
And I'm wondering if we
something
do get like this, like Andor still, keeps gaining more and more followers and more, if we will get more of those. Like if this is successful, they might dive back into some of those.
What's really cool about Chirrut is like he's force sensitive, but at the same time he's not a Jedi, and he wasn't training to be a Jedi. So he's just kind of like this monk on Jeddah, like protecting the temple, and it's like I want to know more about him. Like he's so cool. And then the other dude, I'm forgetting his name, but the other dude, like he wasn't, but he seemed like he was a clone, dude. Like he seemed like he was just like an old clone, like with his like the way that his battle strategy was and the way that he kind of like fought and whatnot. Like even his look somewhat was like almost like he was like an older clone.
Yeah, no, and I, I just thought that it was that dynamic and just how they just trusted each other completely. It was neat, and I'm like, oh, I want to know what happened. How did they build that relationship?
Right.
But and then I'm watching Andor, and I'm like, I didn't know that I wanted to know how much of an idiot he was.
No, I felt like it lived up way to way higher expectations than I gave it. And yeah, it was a really well done show. We got a lot of things that we did. Like, I mean, we got to the point where they explained how some of the Death Star stuff was taken care of and where nobody knew how the Death Star was built, or like the Death Star was even being built because they did it in a prison program. Like that's an amazing storyline.
Yeah. That's Baze.
Baze Malbus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There you go. He probably looked at his wall of Funko Pops and was like, oh, the Chirrut.
Like, how did he not know that it's these two?
Right. Exactly. All right, let's keep it going. We got more live action news, some details about the upcoming Skeleton Crew series has been coming out, and confirmed that Jude Law is in it. I guess there was a trailer or footage shown at Star Wars Celebration. Again,
that's cool.
Haven't released those jerks.
Well, they're gonna do. They'll release it next Tuesday.
Hopefully,
they won't have anything else to release because it's been every Tuesday we've had some sort of big release of information.
Or maybe like during May the 4th or something like that.
Yeah, they might be waiting.
They're just kind of slow dripping everything on us right now, and it's like, oh my god, like this is so good.
I do have a celebration screening sort of skeleton synopsis.
Celebration screening sort of skeleton synopsis. Finally tripped me up.
A description of the Star Wars Celebration footage shows opens with the kids living on an unknown forest world. They go to school, living with their lives, riding speeder bikes, but along the adventure, they find it when they go exploring in the woods one night. Their parents return home to visions of Star Wars suburbia, unlike anything we've seen in the franchise, and find that the kids are missing. And this was that Amblin Entertainment type thing of missing.
That's what I'm saying. So it's 100% the Goonies because they're in a suburban setting.
Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly.
It's the Goonies meets Star Wars. Everyone, buckle up because we're going on an adventure.
So their speeder bikes are like their little BMX bikes, and whatnot.
Right.
They're gonna
So
find
the-
ET, and
No,
yeah, it's
you know what's gonna happen is we're gonna get a like a really deformed Wookiee. You go,
looks like we're getting an Ortolan, which is one of those blue pudgy Max Rebo aliens.
oh no
That's
way.
supposed that's supposed to be one of the kids that go missing.
Oh, he's a Sith.
Wait, okay, so you can see him on the right there. If you look at that picture behind Jude Law.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's right. Yeah, I see him.
Yeah.
He's the little green blob on his left shoulder.
So there are shots of them encountering weird creatures, holograms of their parents back home, begging for them to return, and the kids being menaced by pirates,
Of course.
including the Nikto pirate, formerly of Gorian Shard's crew in The Mandalorian.
You
So
were
we're
so right.
I was gonna say, so we're talking
Vane.
about Vane, right? Like Vane
Yeah.
is the character.
Vane,
that-
yeah.
Okay.
You're so
Further
right.
tying the series to the timeline post Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian, the kids find themselves on the run from blast fire in what looks like a pirate base and flying away on their new ship before the trailer concludes with them locked up in a prison cell carved out of a cave. A hooded figure approaches, floating the key to their freedom in front of the kids with a whimsical display of the Force.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
a Jedi! One of the kids
You're-
exclaims, and as the
You're
figure
a
lowers their hood,
Jedi, Dumbledore.
exactly right.
I mean, it is Dumbledore, so
Huh?
it's Dumbledore, so
No.
the
yeah,
figure
he
lowers
is.
his
That's why I
hood.
said it.
right.
and reveals that it's Jude Law's mysterious character. So Jude Law is playing some sort of
Force wielder.
Jedi-ish, Force wielder in this.
We don't know
but
he's a
we just don't
Jedi.
know.
Watch him be a Sith.
He's gonna be what you call a Force bard. He's gonna have the Force, but he's also gonna want a little something, something as well.
That's what I'm
What we
saying. Watch
call
him be a
Force.
Sith. Watch him be
Yeah.
a Sith.
No, he's not either. He's just a Force wielder. There are non-Jedi, non-Sith Force wielders out there, so he could
Mhm.
just have trained and gave it up,
Could
or
be.
he could be a Jedi in hiding. I mean, just do we know what time frame it takes place in?
Yeah, it's Mandalorian time frame.
Yeah, so he could be a Jedi in hiding,
Well,
and
see-
he takes, instead of, oh my gosh, this could be the start of the path, y'all.
Well, here's the thing. What I like, the idea that I like is if you make him a Sith and like they don't reveal until like the very last moment that he's a Sith. I like the idea that if you make him a Sith, it makes the Sith more ambiguous of characters. They're not necessarily good or evil. Like he's willing to
Yeah.
help people, but he just goes about it in a different way. Kind of what Visions did with some of their characters, right? Like I like the idea of you have like absolute bad guy Sith, but then just because you're a Sith doesn't mean that you are a bad guy. Like the Ronin is a good example of a Sith that protected an entire village just because.
Yeah, no, and and that's totally possible. I
Mhm.
just honestly, it just like in a flash, I was like, this is the path, because he's taking the kids. These kids are probably Force sensitive, so he might be spiriting them away to keep them from getting captured and turned into inquisitors or killed. And so this could be the start of the path. What if he's like one of the guys? What if he's Quinlan Voss?
That would be amazing if he was Quinlan Voss, because we finally see Quinlan Voss, but he doesn't look like Quinlan Voss in this picture. So,
But you know what I'm saying? Like it could be like
Mhm.
a Jedi that was, because what we're seeing right now in The Mandalorian, that flashback from Grogu, is that he met the Sabered Hand. He met Ahmed Best's character. What was his name?
Kelleran Beck.
Kelleran Beck. Thank you. And they were trying to spirit him away because he was a youngling, right? I mean, yeah, he's a special case or whatever, but in Obi-Wan Kenobi, we heard about the path. So we've got Grogu getting rescued and going to a specific location. We've got Obi-Wan, which was last year, but still kind of talking about the path. And then we've got the skeleton crew, and Jude Law plays a Force user.
Right.
I mean, I'm just connecting the dots that lead down a road. So yeah, so that's those are my 50 cents.
Got it. Skeleton Crew wrapped production recently and is currently in the post-production process. Watts, by the way, John Watts, from like Spider-Man, and Ford will executive produce Skeleton Crew along with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. The Skeleton Crew's adventure comes out this year on Disney Plus.
Now, are the Daniels also doing stuff with it too?
I think they directed an episode or two.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought I heard their names. Okay. Let's talk about Ahsoka.
Yeah, let's talk about that Ahsoka trailer. So we watched the trailer. It was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But one of the big questions I had watching that trailer, I'm like, who's that dude with a lightsaber? That's not Ahsoka.
Ancient armor.
I know, right? What is that?
That's not a Force user's armor at this point in time in the story. So.
Yeah. Well, you know who it is? It's the Punisher in Star Wars.
I love Ray Stevenson. I really do. He's awesome. I'm so glad he's in this. I think he looks kind of like what's that guy? Valerin. Starts with a V, but he was like a big Sith guy.
Right.
And was possessed by like Tenebro, something like that. Anyway, I said it looked like him. Vitiate?
Well, we got some backstory on this. So Ray Stevenson is playing a former Jedi warrior named Balon.
He sounds like a character from Game of Thrones.
Right?
Balon. I'm wearing the armor of my father.
Balon's Targaryen.
He survived Order 66 by fleeing into the unknown regions, and it's believed that he's an ally of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Balon is also the master of Shin-Hati, who is played by Ivana Sakno.
What's her name again?
Shin-Hati?
Shin-Hati?
Yeah, Shin-Hati.
Shin-Hati?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shin wields the dark side of the Force and has a loose allegiance to the Night Sisters. So that was the other...
The blonde
Force user, yeah. Who are the witches of Dathomir that were explored in Star Wars The Clone Wars. She's unleashed to take down Ahsoka.
Ooh, this sounds
Do you think we're going to get Ventress in this?
I think
she died.
Yeah, I think Asajj Ventress is dead, but I mean, it would be cool because the relationship that Ahsoka and Asajj Ventress had,
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Or Barriss. Did Barriss did she get axed? Because she's the one that betrayed her. So
this must be the version, or maybe Thrawn's version of what are those dudes called? That
Inquisitors.
Inquisitors that are going out and hunting Jedi. So I do have an Ahsoka-opsis.
Synopsis.
The Ahsoka series is set after the fall of the Empire, and it follows the former Jedi Knight, Ahsoka Tano, and she investigates an emerging threat to a vulnerable galaxy. Ahsoka and Sabine are on the hunt for Grand Admiral Thrawn in hopes that it would lead them to find their lost Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi who disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. This is like 30 years ago.
Right.
Is that weird? It's like you waited 30 years. The series directly follows up on the several threads from the animated series Star Wars Rebels.
So this is season 4 in live action, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, no, but even if it's 30 years, I mean, we don't know how each of the species age.
Right.
Right. So like, do they age faster? Do they age? So 30 years to them may be like 5 years to us as far as like those characters. So like Ezra may not age like we do, or, and who knows? Thrawn is eternal. So that,
He kind of He kind of is now. Now Ezra again, it makes sense where he's at, and same thing with Sabine. Considering that if this is like 30 years later, then they're probably like in their 40s, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Ahsoka doesn't age the same way.
Yeah, I don't think
seems
she
like she
does.
ages a lot slower than everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, just like because Snips was already kind of a kid when she was in and everything that we saw her in before. So I mean,
Yeah, she was young, like
yeah.
maybe 14
Oh,
when they started.
never mind. Never mind. Oh, really? That's weird. Okay, so from the Battle of Yavin,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So Rebels takes place, 5 years before that.
Right.
From the Battle of Yavin, it's been 9 years. It's only
Oh,
9.
so it
I thought it was
hasn't been
longer.
that long then.
Oh, so they're in their 20s then.
Everything
Yeah.
which has occurred thus far in The Mandalorian has taken place in what we refer to out of fiction as 9 ABY, so 9 years after the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
So it's been a decade.
Yeah. So okay, that makes more sense because I was like, the actress they got for Sabine Wren looked really good for 40. But then
Like
you
she's in her
also got
mid to late 20s, which is
you
what she
got
should be.
Katie Sackhoff's character Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian, and
Yeah.
we're not sure how old she was in Clone Wars and Rebels and all that, but let's say she's 50. She's
Yeah, I don't
looking
even think
good
she's
for
that.
50. Well, no, Katie
I think
Sackhoff isn't, but let's say Bo-Katan is. Like, we don't really know how, but let's say she's 50.
Well, she was
then,
she was in her early 20s during the Clone Wars. So she would probably be in her early to mid 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because
Yeah,
I was going to
that
say,
makes
because Mandalorians might age slower. And it seems like
It
they
doesn't
would
seem
be a
like they do.
culture that
It doesn't seem like they do, especially
Okay.
because like you look at Boba Fett and the way that he
Boba Fett.
He's a clone.
He is a clone, but he doesn't have the aging technology.
He doesn't.
He's
doesn't
a
have
pure
the
copy
accelerator.
of his father.
Yeah.
So I mean, technically his dad's not Mandalorian either, though. But I mean, like still.
Yeah. And so that I'm just saying, like the actual Mandalorians, and we know she was from. She
She's royal
descended
family.
from. Yeah, so she descended from Mandalorians. So,
Mhm.
so that's why I'm saying that she may not age. Like I think Din Djarin probably ages like the same as we do, and you're going to have, if you have all these foundlings that aren't Mandalorian, they're going to age at different rates. But I'm just saying, like the actual true Mandalorian.
Because Din Djarin and Jango Fett is also from Concordia.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the both of them, because they're both Concordian, so like the both of them are probably about the same.
So he was
Okay,
some
all
sort of
right.
foundling or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Back in the day. All right. So Ahsoka, it was also confirmed that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera Syndulla, right?
Right, like we mentioned.
Chopper is back, but also the series is going to have stars Hayden Christensen.
So we're going to
Anakin.
get flashbacks as Anakin. That's going to be awesome.
Or he's going to be a Force ghost.
Mhm.
I think they're going to do flashbacks, especially with like to get like training montages between Anakin and Ahsoka.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It would,
Well, and also if they're talking Thrawn,
right.
Thrawn's going to be in this. So if they're talking that, he might be going over the fight scenes, and he discovers that Anakin is Vader, because not everybody knows that right now.
Right.
And so that could be part of it.
Like his son is one of the few people that know.
Yeah, but it could be what the training sequences are. It may not be a memory for Ahsoka. It may be Thrawn's trying to get go through his.
Thrawn realizing that Vader is Anakin.
Yeah.
Mhm. I thought they covered that in Rebels, but I may be wrong. Okay, let's see. We talked about Anakin Skywalker. Ivana Sakno is also in it. Iman Esvandi
Ezra,
is playing Ezra, and then Ray Stevenson is playing that new. I don't think they call him a Sith, right?
Balon.
No.
Yeah,
they don't.
Former Jedi Warrior Balon. Okay, so he doesn't have a title or anything. But Ahsoka is coming out August 2023. Exciting.
Yeah, it's coming up sooner than we all expect. So
Oh gosh, yeah, I thought it was going to be 2024 before we got it, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
So check this out. Again, more stuff we didn't get to see, but it's out there. There was a first look for the upcoming series Acolyte, which I know like Ark was super excited for.
So excited
yeah.
for this. You guys
In-
heard all my like string theories on what the Acolyte's going to be. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear what James is going to say right now.
So in the footage that was shared, Amandla Stenberg's character attempts to kill a Jedi Master who is played by Carrie Ann Moss
Woo!
from
The
the Matrix.
Yep.
It was also revealed that
Had
Junis
to happen.
Suotamo, who has played Chewbacca in the newer films, is also in the sequel playing a new Wookiee named Kel Naka.
Okay.
All right. So the story is set in the High Republic era. So this is our first look,
First live action.
live action and animated. So anything on screen from the High Republic era.
Like,
And the story is
so far.
And the story is described as a mystery thriller that will take viewers into the galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers. In the final days of the High Republic, the former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they have ever anticipated. So the series takes place 100 years before the franchise's prequel series. So that's kind of
That's
going back to what you were saying
wicked cool.
about Plagueis, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a good. I know that race they for sure aged slower.
Yeah.
And remember that Plagueis figured out he figured out how to live forever, even though he got killed by Sidious. But I mean, like, he figured out how to do essence transfers, right? And I mean, at this point, it's I think it's canon at this point. I haven't read the Plagueis book, but I mean, like, it's going to be interesting to see if we get like a version of Plagueis, because it's 100 years, so he would have been practicing this at this point.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis? So the series was described as a spiritual war and includes conflict between siblings, parents, as well as conflicts between master and apprentice. It was reiterated the project is very much inspired by samurai films. Oh, sounds cool.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard that.
Awesome.
I heard that it's very much like a Kurosawa film. So I mean, like, yeah, I love when they go full blown Kurosawa in these shows.
It has been said that the focus is on the emergence of the Sith, a group of dark Jedi who are set on conquering the galaxy. The Acolyte term has been used in the Star Wars universe to describe soldiers for the powerful Sith lords. Interesting.
Right. Because remember, the rule of two says that there can only be two Sith. There is a master and an apprentice. Everybody else is an acolyte. And in order for an acolyte to become a Sith, they have to take the title from the apprentice. So essentially, they kill the apprentice, they become the apprentice. I don't know if there is an established rule that if an acolyte kills the Dark Lord of the Sith, they become the Dark Lord of the Sith, which would piss off the apprentice. But I mean, like, like that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing, is that in order to become a Sith, you have to kill the apprentice, or you have to kill the master, which, the idea is that the master is so powerful that you can't kill the master.
But
yeah,
I mean, it's a bloodbath either way.
Right. I mean, that's that the whole hierarchy of the Sith is that everyone is an acolyte until they become an apprentice.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only way you get to do that is to kill
your
master.
Right.
Because, the acolyte is under the apprentice. So the apprentice would be helping mentor the acolyte. So, yeah.
So the
It's
acolyte will consist of 8 episodes and be released on Disney Plus in 2024.
So again, that's sooner.
Totally think that Ark's right. That he's betting Yoda shows up.
Oh yeah, no, that's for that 100% sure. 100%, we're gonna see Yoda in this show, and it's because Yoda dies at 800 years old, right?
Yeah.
And
so
if
we know Yoda,
right? If this is only 100 years before the prequels, right? Like, he's how old is he at that point? Like, I mean, he's not even the prequels only take
He's like
place,
500 years old.
well, no, I'm saying the prequels only take place like 40 years before everything that happens in not even that. It's like 20 years before the
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said he was like 900 when he died, and that
He's
was
800 when he
during
died.
or
Yeah.
800 when he
Yeah.
died.
We're in 800 years you are, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's
Always
800
trying
when
to
he
make him
dies,
older.
which yeah, so it means he's only about 760 by the point of the prequels.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he would be 660. He's still going to be an old man.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. They may have a longer prime. It could be like 100 through 700 or and then they just wither and die immediately after.
Yeah, I
Who
think
knows?
Yoda is still going to be an old man at that point
Yeah.
because he would have been about 200-300 as a young man.
And he may just be like a Jedi Knight, like a more tenured Jedi Knight, not necessarily a master yet.
Or
he's just like one of those old Asian dudes like me, where he's gonna like young for like 300 years, and then 301, it's like oh, an old
like
man
he's
you
so
are.
so basically what we're saying is Yoda is the Filipino of the
Exactly.
Star Wars
There you
universe, right? He's young
That's
until
why
he
he
hits
doesn't want
80.
to tell anywhere he's from. Tell
Exactly.
everyone where he's from.
Oh, look at you like
Philippines I'm from.
Oh my gosh.
Pinoy I am.
not that anymore.
Lumpia you want? Good food. Good
Soy sauce I have, yes.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Let's.
Just wow.
So we covered. Let's recap.
What?
So we
Oh my
covered.
goodness.
We covered animation. We covered TV shows. We're about to start talking about movies. It's weird to talk about Star Wars and movies now.
I know.
I feel like we are actually in Star Wars now. I just feel like we've just traveled into the actual Star Wars universe, and we are now in it because we've been talking about it for so long.
Right.
But I'm like all for it. Like everything I love. But it's just like, man, thank goodness I only do this every 2 years now.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's still talk about Mando for a second. So we're in Mando season 3.
Mhm.
It's gonna set up gonna set up a 4th season. And the story is gonna continue and also tie into Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, season 2, and the Skeleton Crew.
Mhm.
By the way, I did say Book of Boba Fett season 2.
Yeah.
Then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all of these shows will get endgamed and lead into a Dave Filoni directed Star Wars movie.
I think it's gonna be fantastic. So here's what I want to see. I want to see some animation elements in it.
Animation elements?
Yeah, I want to see live action with just a splash of animation somewhere. Whether it's the backgrounds or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
just
think it's gonna have that
something
Dave Filoni
gives that-
touch.
Yeah.
It's gonna have that Ralph McQuarrie,
Mhm.
landscape touch to it. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be the problem. But yeah, isn't that kind of interesting that Filoni's gonna be directing a movie because he's comes from like an animation background, long form storytelling, Mandalorian, and then his other shows. But now it's gonna be a movie.
Well, I definitely think they're setting him up to take over Kathleen Kennedy's job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he's going. So, and I feel like he thinks he needs to have certain things done before he takes over the keys to the kingdom, because that's how George did it. And he's such an acolyte of George's that's what he wants to do.
Right. I think what they're gonna do with this is they're giving him a chance to bookend the stories that he's telling in the shows right now. And it's like, if you can wrap this up with a nice, neat little bow, then we will let you do whatever the hell you want because you are a master storyteller at that point.
Yeah.
Nice, neat little bow, Katan.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. And that's 100% exactly where it's going.
And we'll
Because-
all be invited to the wedding.
Well, because we've been seeing everything now. It's like, okay, we've got the show The Mandalorian, but is the Mandalorian Din Djarin or is Bo-Katan the Mandalorian that they're referring to in this name?
Well,
Mhm.
Dave said that the Mandalorian, the season 3, it was meant to be more that it's all of the Mandalorians. They are the Mandalorian, kind of like Spartacus. So
Spartacus.
Right, what we all thought, where they were going with it, it seems that that's where they wanted us to think they were going with it. So yes. So.
Right, but I mean, like, we've got the Mandalorian. We've got season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and then Skeleton Crew. So, like, all of these storylines. It seems like what they're doing is they're going to be tying everything together into this movie. Which, again, I like the idea of they've had nothing but cohesive storylines between the shows, and it's being bookended with a movie because everything's already cinematic to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so I think Grogu's going to be around for a while. I think we might see him in something else that was also done at Star Wars Celebration. And I'm not going to say it because I think we have it a little further down.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm saying a lot of words to avoid telling you something that we're going to talk about.
So again, this Filoni-led movie will kind of end or close out the interconnected stories that he's been telling, which really revolve around the escalating war between the Imperials and the fledgling New Republic.
Well, and he may be wrapping this up so he can start the next phase, which would be the start of the First Order.
Right.
And so I totally think that he wants to finish this story arc and then go to the next story arc. Because he's getting to play in live action now.
Yeah, he's mentioned in interviews that the events of what is going on right now, like the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and all that, is not going to they're not going to address the First Order. And that means that there's still more story between when he does this movie and when we get to the point where the First Order starts taking over in episode 7.
Yeah. No, and I get that. I totally understand that. I just think that because it's so structured and they're dealing with times in between, that they can go as far as they need to, but they can only do it in a set amount of time. So, unless they start making the seasons like not a whole year, which it seems like from Jon Favreau's perspective that each thing has been a year. So it was a year through Boba Fett, and now and so they were apart for 2 years. So I think that's part of it too, is that they have to start wrapping certain things up because there are other stories that are gonna need to be told about other characters.
Exactly. So they got to start branching out and adding more characters. So that was movie 1. Movie 2 brings Wolverine to the Star Wars galaxy.
Not quite.
Musical numbers.
Kind of.
Yay!
It's a teaser. So James Mangold, who directed Logan, is going to direct a new Star Wars movie, which is cool. All right, sounds good.
Right.
Actually, he was supposed to do the Boba Fett movie, but they decided to make Book of Boba instead.
Book of Boba Tea.
Exactly. It was initially revealed that the movie would go back to the dawn of the Jedi, which is kind of interesting.
Right.
I'm so excited for this.
So Mangold shared some additional information on the kind of Star Wars film that he'll be making and revealed it will be explore how the Force was discovered. He said, it came to me thinking about if I were doing one, it seemed to me that most of what they were thinking about was doing the movies from either in the present of Star Wars or the future. And what attracted me most was the distant past and how the galaxy formed and how, more specifically, the Force was discovered. First, you have to write the character, and that's what I'm doing now.
What would be cool is if we got Coruscant before it became like an entire city planet.
Right. It's going to be like this little moon.
Right.
This little tiny moon is Coruscant, and they just keep building over and over and over.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. He's going to go back to the very beginning. This is kind of bold. If you ask me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. This is the guy that's also doing the Swamp Thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why they're saying he's getting the triple. He's getting the triple going on there because doesn't he have a Marvel thing going on too?
He had
No.
Logan. He did Logan.
Well,
That's
he
right.
did
That's right.
Logan.
So
Yeah.
he did Logan. He's done Indiana Jones because that movie's coming out. And then now Star Wars, and he's got a DC movie in the works. So he's pretty much the only guy that's been in all of the franchises.
He definitely gets all the stamps on his nerd card.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All of them.
And he has the most true to Wolverine movie with the Wolverine in it.
Oh yeah. Logan hands down is my favorite. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on.
So I do have a non-canon canonical synopsis.
Non-canon canonical synopsis. Didn't trip me up there.
From the books, we know about the early history of the Force was that in 36,453 BBY, philosophers and scientists from several star systems gathered on Tython to share some mystical knowledge. The Force was discovered, unfortunately, in 25,793 BBY. Several Tython scholars began to use their knowledge of the Force to pursue power, leading to the beginning of the Force Wars. Peace-minded monks that survived the destruction on Tython established the Jedi Order in 25,783 BBY.
Wow, so that's a 10-year war there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's going to be interesting to see if we see the Rakatan in this too, because like the Rakatan have a big piece to play in the establishment of force wielding and just establishing force wielders in general, because like they were more gray. Like they wielded the force, but they weren't dark, they weren't light. They kind of they were about balance between both.
Well, and they've already been established as canon anyway, right?
Not canon yet. So they've mentioned the Rakatan. They mentioned the Rakatan War, but they haven't. Like it's only been mentioned in name. They haven't established, because right now, as of now, Old Republic is still technically not canon.
Okay.
But they're talking about like bringing in bits and pieces of the Old Republic plus.
Well, yeah, and then this is where they do it. I mean,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, like they're saying that they're that there's going to be establishments within these movies and shows that they just announced that supposedly this is where we're going to start getting solid establishment of the Old Republic. And if we start getting like solid establishment of the Old Republic again, we start getting the establishment of the original Mandalore where they didn't have a planet. We've talked about this on the show. We start getting the fact that before lightsabers they had vibro blades. We talk about the Rakatan and how they they were the great the great architects and things like that, and kind of like the history of the Sith Empire and the Sith as a race before they became an ideology. Like there's a lot of history, like rich history. Tython's actually something from the Old Republic, so it's actually it is interesting that we see that. I also want to see if they talk about Korriban in this, because that would be actually really cool.
That would be cool. Now, what was the planet before Korriban? Wasn't there another one?
There was another one. Yeah, because Korriban's where the Sith Academy was at.
Right.
And that's where that was the second homeworld of the Sith. But there's an established planet. I don't remember. I have to look it up. But there's a planet that they originally come from. People.
I think I watched something on that, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I didn't know, because I just assumed, "Oh no, they started on Korriban."
Yeah, because there's like an actual race of people that were the Sith, and then when Force wielders started integrating in their society, they killed off the actual race and took their ideals.
Yeah, and wore their skins as coats.
I mean,
whoa, this just got dark.
But they essentially did, because when you fall far enough down the dark side twists you, so you start getting like physical features that are the embodiment of the dark side. That's why
it's like in one of the games that Zabrak, where if he went, the Coder 2, if he went like got mad, he would get the red and the black.
Right.
But if he was all nice and kind, he was that weird putty color.
Yeah.
And so I mean,
like Darth Maul is a Zabrak.
Yeah. So that's what reminded me. So I was just like, hey, but
that was in the second game.
Cool. Yeah.
You
her
guys
too.
are a ray of sunshine. Speaking of Ray,
I see what you did there.
Daisy Ridley is back. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced Daisy Ridley will reprise her role as Rey Skywalker in a new Star Wars movie. So the third movie of the new Star Wars movies coming.
Yeah, and I'm actually
Interesting.
excited about this. I mean, they talked about like she's going to be establishing a new Jedi Order.
Yeah.
We're going to see kind of like, some involvement in her future and everything like that. As much as everybody hated or everybody hates on the sequels, she was one of the things that people, universally everybody liked Rey as a character.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be cool to see her coming back and doing her thing and just getting more story from Rey.
I think I agree. I cannot wait to see that because I really want to see what she teaches. Because she has such a different perspective of the Jedi versus what Luke had.
She feels more gray.
Well, yeah, I mean, she is definitely way more gray. I mean, she's got the yellow lightsaber, and that's pretty much the balanced.
Well, I was gonna say yellow is Sentinel. So yellow is just it just says that you're a Jedi Sentinel. Usually, Temple Guards and Jedi Sentinels have yellow lightsabers.
Right, but back in the day, it was the balanced force. The three colors: the blue, the green, and the yellow. But the yellow was the most balanced of them, and they were the characters that.
Right, because she's the guardian of the way. Essentially, is what what that establishes is that she's the one that does that. Now, I mean, to be fair, Luke was a lot more gray than than previous Jedi Masters, and he was the only one she could learn from. So of course, she's going to be a lot more gray than Luke was, because you look at the line where it all comes from. Like Qui-Gon Jinn was a gray Jedi, right?
Yes.
Qui-Gon taught Obi-Wan was a little more strict, but Obi-Wan taught Luke taught Rey, and I mean, you just have these line of, you had the Jedi zealots who essentially kind of got more lax and became more and more gray down the line to where she got.
Oh, definitely. And I think that's what the Force needed. I mean, that's what they wanted, and that's what's bringing balance to the Force is just, hey, just do what
which is
stuff, but don't.
Which is more like the ideals of the Rakatan.
So the other part of the story is that this is the project that Shareem Obaid-Chinoy from Miss Marvel was previously attached to direct. So this is the Damon Lindelof piece that he wrote and then dropped out. So this is that movie. Yeah. So he was writing the next version of Rey in Star Wars. So it's kind of interesting. So Kathleen Kennedy shared that we're 15 years out from Rise of Skywalker. So we're post-war, post-First Order, and the Jedi are in disarray.
Of course they would be.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of discussion around who are the Jedi, what are they doing, what is the state of the galaxy. She's attempting to rebuild the Jedi Order based on the books, based on what she promised Luke. So that's where we're going. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they also talked about, like, is Luke gonna show up? Is he gonna force ghost his way into these movies?
Right.
Kennedy said,
I think she's gonna have to move over because Grogu's gonna steal the show.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we might get Grogu.
There's rumors that Grogu might be in this, and that Grogu would be teenage age at this point.
So he's 15. Gonna be horny for Rey.
This will be about
touch you, I will.
20 years after Mandalorian, I guess.
That's cool. Yeah.
So. Kathleen Kennedy said, I don't know if we spend a lot of time in flashbacks or Force ghosts or things like that, but certainly the spirit of what he represents to her is going to be significant. Kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Go back to like Octo or Octo.
Octo. Maybe. Well, she doesn't really need to, right? Like, she got the books. Then they burned the tree down or whatever.
I just want to see those women be really exasperated with her.
No, because they'll be like, "Hey, would you like some green milk?" And that's just gross.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm kind of interested in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested in this. I do want to see more of that character. I want to see. I want to see Finn the way that we thought he was supposed to be. Like,
Mhm.
you know, they essentially established that Finn is force sensitive. I want to see her train Finn.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
I
know?
think that, I mean, even if she doesn't train him, or she just trains him like Leia got trained
Right.
from Luke, I think that would be really cool. And you know, will we get Poe in this? Probably not.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, he might be a senator at this point.
I think this is such a good idea because, you know,
There's so many ways they could go with it.
female, it's not even that, but it's like female empowerment. It's like we need a Rey in the Star Wars
Yeah.
universe, kind of taking charge and leading the
Well,
way for you know,
but
kids and whatnot.
She's the legacy. Hold on.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
She is, because, like, you know, you got to think it started with Amidala, and she wasn't force sensitive or anything, but she was a great leader.
Right.
And then you go to Leia, who
Right.
is force sensitive and a great leader. And then you go to Rey, who is a Jedi and a great leader. So it's a circle. It circles all the way back. So I think it's fantastic.
I want to see somebody retcon the entire story and make her not a clone of Palpatine. Because, like, I hated that.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that was awful.
I kind of expected it. Of course I did. But I was like, she's got to be some Sith. Like something, some way she's derived from the dark side of the Force. Like Anakin was derived from, you know, from the Force. She was too, but she had more dark side tendencies or something like that. But I was glad that they just had, they were like, well, yeah, you're just like the child of one of my clones.
I mean, technically, Anakin was created by Plagueis.
Yeah.
You go and
well, I
read
mean, there's
story.
two schools on that. There's that the Force created him, and then there's that Plagueis did actually succeed in what he was doing.
Right.
He just didn't realize what it was. Yeah.
He manipulated the midichlorians into creating this being.
Yeah. But if the Force didn't want that to happen, it wouldn't have let him do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, because it's a living thing too. So
yeah. I mean, where I was going with that is that technically Anakin was also created by the dark side. If
right, yeah.
Plagueis is the one that created him.
So
real quick,
like
Ark chimed in the chat. He was asking about Mon Mothma. I don't think she'll be in this, but she is going to be in Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, Mon Mothma is going to be in Ahsoka. Guaranteed.
Does Mon Mothma survive episode 6? She does, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She gonna be.
Yeah, definitely.
She may not have survived
the First Order.
The First Order, because they were blowing up the
Central Senate
world.
The Senate planet. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
So she may not have survived that. But that's yeah.
Remember, they were more of a death cult than they were like an established, you know, like force in the universe. It's more that they were encroaching on the Republic, and the Republic just didn't know how to fight back.
They were the emo teens that used to gather at the mall, and people, you know, people just stayed away from them.
Right.
All right.
With that said,
Ark, you better stock up on your yellow lightsabers or your Rey lightsabers, because people are going to come hot and heavy for those.
And those lightsabers are badass. She had a really cool lightsaber. Her emitter looks dope as hell.
Oh yeah, I was so impressed, and I was so glad she did it based off her staff.
Right, and then with the twist igniter on that thing was so dope.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, you guys, I gotta let you know. You know what I'm really excited about?
We got merch.
We got merch, people. That's what I'm excited about. She called me on it.
I speed that up so easy. And you had to put that all being said in there. Got a segue.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, so if you're interested in merch, we got merch. We got we got a hat in Galaxy Gray. You better come get it. Otherwise, Ford says he wants to buy it. So you better come get that quick. Otherwise, we got shirts. Just DM us at Distance Nerding. We got all kinds of different sizes. Ark, I know we owe you a shirt. So we'll definitely get that to you. Let me talk to Joe. I actually talked to him last week, but I'll talk to Joe tomorrow about that. So if you want a shirt, they're $20 or $25 if we got to ship it to you. And if you can't wait, go check out lucharillas.com because they also have some Distance Nerding merch. They got merch, people. I'm gonna post it.
My hand was on the other side.
I'm posting it in the chat. So if you want to check out some of the Distance Nerding, like the Distance Nerdarilla, and whether you want a bump box or a t-shirt or a memory card or a bottle opener, we got it all at lucharillas.com.
And as you guys can see on the screen, the Distance Nerdarilla on the screen right there, we frequently wear their gear. I actually wore one at Gem State so that people could see it. So it's pretty awesome.
Yay.
Yay.
Woohoo.
All right, so we kind of went over on time, but that means you guys have to
We
tune
had
in
a lot
on
of Star Wars stuff.
lots of Star Wars. And we're
really
not
did.
done. We're not
No.
done because Thursday
Right.
you're gonna tune in to the build, and we're gonna talk more Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So just so you guys know what we're doing this Thursday on this Thursday show. So we do have Joey DeAria coming on the show this week. He was from the late 80s to the 90s. He was Bozo the Clown. He was also in various anime, and he's an old Hollywood guy. So I mean, he's been in all kinds of stuff.
On the
He's
Gong
got
Show.
He was on the Gong Show. He's got a lot of great stories. So for those of you who were at Gem State, you know all about him coming on stage and just kind of randomly telling stories when I would talk on stage. But we're gonna have him tell those stories here. So give you an example.
Maybe do a voice too.
Oh yeah, he was also Droopy Dog. So I mean,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I saw I was asking the crowd, who's your favorite Batman, right? And people started naming him out. One guy goes, Adam West, right? And he just kind of bursts out of his booth like, I heard Adam West, and he comes up on stage. He goes, I got an Adam West story. I'm like, tell me your Adam West story, man. And he tells us this awesome story about the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Three Stooges and Adam West. So I mean,
That's awesome.
right? So we'll probably be able to coax some of those stories out of him this Thursday. But we're gonna have Joey DeAria on the show. We're gonna be doing brackets, but we're also gonna talk breakdown because we could not do the breakdown tonight with all the news and everything that we had to cover tonight. We're gonna move the breakdown over to this Thursday, and we are gonna break down episode 6 because there's a lot to go over. Hopefully, I don't kind of melt into episode 7 because episode 7 is gonna be out by then. So, but I mean, I'm excited to talk about it. Frey, you'll be in the chat, right?
Yeah, I should be in the chat.
Okay, so
If I'm not right, I might be recording that day, but we'll see. I don't think it won't be that late. Hopefully,
Okay,
because it's 2 hours later for me than it is for you guys.
Right. And then again, for more fun stuff on Thursday's show, there's a good chance that a certain Force might be in studio. So get excited for that, ladies and gentlemen.
I like
excited.
Oh, look.
Ooh, that's
No
so
talk.
Monday game stream 6 a.m. 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right. Tuesdays the download 6:30 till way past 8:30, and Thursdays the build 6 to 8 p.m. and we're gonna move the breakdown over there for a little bit and talk to some celebs. It'll be awesome.
Exactly. Just for this week. And again, like James mentioned, I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy on Mondays, guys. So just tune in to Twitch. Come and hang out with me, Graveyard James, all in the chat. Just James putting fart noises and knocks throughout the entire game, so everybody knows.
Hang out with young Phil while he runs through the forest to find decapitated kids. It's great.
That was like
It's a great
2
way
3
to spend
weeks
your
ago,
time.
man. Like this week, I wasn't decapitated.
Whatever.
This week I was learning new spells, and I learned I finally got Alahomora, so I can like unlock doors and stuff.
Oh yay!
Leviosa yourself out of that hole. Come on.
Wingardium Leviosa last week, and that's
there you go.
But I was saying it wrong, It's
Yeah.
Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Well, Frey Girl,
Yeah.
why don't you revelio your pluggables?
You can find me here on Tuesdays. I am on Kyber Cave's Saturday Morning Nerd Out on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also mod for the New Rock Stars. I'm on their Discord. I am one of the mods on their live show as well. It's taking a month hiatus because, of course, it's going to take a month hiatus when everything is coming out. But
Does that mean there's a ton of new content coming, but we're just not allowed to talk about it yet?
No, so they decided to scale back in April and give everybody a break because they were making so much content,
Mhm.
and they're only releasing one thing a day right now. And then they're doing stuff like Eric's doing stuff with the deep dive. So
The deep
he's gonna
dive,
do
yeah.
some stuff over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I
Which,
mean, we're just
late happy
scaling
birthday
back.
to Eric Voss.
Oh yeah, it was his birthday yesterday. Yeah.
Mhm.
Happy birthday, happy level up day, Eric. Even though I told him already, but I'll tell you again. And so they've got a lot of stuff going on, but the Discord is always popping. So you guys can definitely come in there. You can follow me on Twitter at FreyGirl, on TikTok and Instagram. On TikTok I'm Gotham.Oracle. On Instagram I'm Gotham_Oracle. And I'm also in the Discord for this channel, and occasionally I do weird things. I might post the Barbie pops in there.
There you
if
go.
you want.
Have we not already? I thought we. No, you know what? We haven't.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been having way too much fun with the Barbie selfie
Oh,
generator.
man. The ones you've been posting, guys. If you're not following her on social media, you need to just to see all the Barbie stuff she posts. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I did all the New Rock Stars hosts, all the guest hosts from the break room too. So I was really bored that day, but it was really fun, and I was so hyped about Barbie. So I do think it's going to be Barbie summer, and we're going to have a Mon Volani winter. So it's going to be fantastic. And Blue Beetle's coming out this summer.
Yes.
It's just going to be it. We're living in a nerd nirvana right now. Nerd
I'm-
nirvana.
I'm
Said
a
it there
nerdy.
first.
I'm a nerdy girl in a nerdy world.
Exactly.
It's not plastic.
Oh, have something you want to discuss? Tell us what you're nerding out on, and make sure to let us know in the Facebook group, the Distance Nerdington Post.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to let you know right now. If you don't already know, head over to distancenerding.com and join the taco party. Ladies and gentlemen, you can join the taco party. All you have to do, I had to get nice and close and personal for everybody.
That's going to be the YouTube screen, the thumbnail.
Hey,
Just follow it.
tell Mezzo to do it. I'll do it again. Join the taco party. Head over to distancenerding.com and click the button on the top left side. Join the taco party and do all the cool, fun stuff. Because if you join the taco party, if you buy some tacos, all that does is make it so we can make more content for you guys, and we can have all of the fun. And you guys are looking at my nose now. Stop. All right.
Mas contento.
Yeah. Guys, connect with us at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, all at Distance Nerding.
Don't forget, you can email us at distancenerding@aol.com. See you later. And we will read it on the air, hopefully. Distance Nerding.
Distance Nerding.
What if people are going to dist_antsnerding@aol.com and they're like, they never read my emails?
Shouldn't be. There's no underscore there.
Keep sending emails.
I know, right?
Fuck, man.
So rude. So rude. We should go check the emails. Thanks, and keep nerding together.
All right, it's time for the
Nerd
dance party.
together.
Let's get some dancing going because I know James has got some kids to put away. Let's do this. And Ahsoka.
Oh, I like that, Ahsoka.
That's the button that'll kill everybody.
Distance nerding.
I am the luchador. I am the luchador. El muerto. El piscina de muerto. The dead bull. See everybody on Thursday.